We're live. What's up, Angela?
What's up, Dale?
Two Real Live, number 110. It's Monday. You got the Mondays?
I do. Yeah. I felt like I did too much today.
Really?
Yeah, I was still in weekend mode and I got slapped around into the week.
I think I kind of had the Mondays too. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't love the day. You know?
Okay.
I haven't loved it. I haven't woke up and then at any point through my consciousness of the day have I been like, man, I really love this day. No, it just never happened. Even walk outside. No, never happened.
Yeah, it's weird because astrologically today is a very fortunate day.
Is it?
Yeah, because the moon and Jupiter are in Cancer and they're conjoining.
We don't know what's happening beneath the surface, beneath the waves. It's just a day that I haven't had a bad day either. So there's that. It's been a pleasant day. It's just been a day that, well, I mean, it's a pleasant day. I don't know how to feel about this day. I don't know. I feel like the whole world is so weird. It's really hard to have a good day.
Everything is terrible.
Yeah.
Everything is terrible. Yep. Nothing but bad news.
Speaking
really
of not terrible, Bobo is here.
Oh, that is nice. It's a rough time to have the internet and eyeballs.
It's weird to see what the internet has actually turned into, because here we are at like this really, I think, like sort of crucial point in like our online the evolving of the online like world. And yeah, I just feel like the internet has really gotten weird.
Yeah, we're totally not prepared for all the weirdness.
It started out
it's being
weird.
Foisted upon us.
It started out weird, but then it had like that innocence phase, like the MySpace phase.
Yeah, where everybody's like, oh my God, you can connect with all of your loved ones and friends from long ago. And you can also read all of the books that were ever taught by anybody ever all over the world. And isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
All of the information at our fingertips.
Exactly.
And then a few like of the worst rich people were like, what if we exploited everything and made it all terrible?
Present scientist is saying that they're going to become future scientist because they're just stopping in the start of their day. And I really thank you for stopping. That's awesome. And then they're going to catch the rest of the episode
nice.
later, I guess we call it.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
SC is saying happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, is
it Canadian Thanksgiving?
Oh, shit, I had no idea. I'm just a bad Canadian.
I don't know.
Well, my parents don't call
really
me,
weird
and
that,
it's just,
Isn't it weird that Canadian Thanksgiving would be Columbus Day here? No, it can't be.
Does it mean my family's not thankful? Because I've never heard from them on Thanksgiving. So am I not in there like, the things to be thankful for? Like, does it mean that I'm not?
Well, how do Canadians do Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I haven't been there in 30 fucking years.
No, but you don't remember when you were a kid? Of course you do.
I don't remember much of Thanksgiving.
Did you guys did you make a big production of being thankful for everything? Dale? You with me? You have information I'm seeking.
Okay,
Tell me about your Canadian childhood and how Thanksgiving went down.
I don't really remember much of us doing anything on Thanksgiving. I don't remember Thanksgiving ever being anything but like the day off of school or whatever.
Well, so don't make it any bigger than it is now. It doesn't have to be a thing.
Okay.
Unless you make it a thing.
Okay. Hey, I got to make a quick sort of not, it's not a redactment so much as just like an addendum to Machado.
Oh my God, I know. Okay, so we are both so ignorant about everything.
Yeah.
The last time
on Friday. I don't know about that. I doth protest.
I was so ignorant.
Most things.
I was so ignorant about everything.
Most things.
The last live that we did on Friday, you were talking about the Nobel Prize going to Maria
instead
Machado.
Of Donald Trump. And then I heard that she dedicated it to him, and I was like, yeah, sure she did. And then I was like, no, really, she did. And I'm like, did she? And I was like, okay, so she's just snuggling up to him. And they'd be like, yeah, she is snuggling up to him because she's far right.
There's a whole story.
Because we were ignorant about. There's like a literal like fucking crazy oil deal going down.
Yeah, so check it out. So Venezuela has since closed their embassy in Oslo, Norway because of the Nobel Prize. Oh my God. They're super offended.
In Norway?
No, in Venezuela.
In Venezuela. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, did you say it was the Norwegians? Who?
Oslo.
Oh.
That's Norway, right?
Yeah. I believe so.
Could be anywhere.
I said most things.
Yeah, so it turns out that we continue to be the most propagandized populace in the world.
Yeah.
That what we're told here in America isn't the whole story. And so I just learned a little bit more about the whole story, and I realized that it's not cause for celebration after all.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone in Canada who's having Thanksgiving is having a great Thanksgiving.
Oh, we're back to that.
I believe, I just want to get back to it quickly because, I feel like a bad Canadian. And so I just want to say happy Thanksgiving.
You're not a bad Canadian.
To all Canadians. I love Canada. I miss Canada. I do. I truly and deeply and dearly miss Canada. And so, yeah, man, I hope they're having the fucking beautiful, carving it up and doing whatever they do, just remembering the truth, staying close to the truth, hanging on to the truth, getting into the truth.
Like turkey and stuffing and
I believe they do. I remember as we went through school for Thanksgiving, we had the old fucking
green bean casserole,
sort of big lie, if you will.
No, but you guys have the same traditions.
Everyone's sitting at the table. Oh, this is so delicious.
Do you have the same? Do you serve the same food? Is my question.
Yeah, turkeys and
really.
Yeah, dead turkeys.
Amazing.
And cooked, not boiled.
Boiled
Turkey. Not boiled. I don't know.
Does anybody eat boiled turkey?
No, I just wanted to say it.
That sounds like a 1970s insult. Listen here, you boiled turkey.
You fucking boiled turkey. You're worse than a boiled turkey.
You boiled turkey. Get out of here.
You're nothing but a boiled turkey to me. That's hilarious. Well, anyway, so Machado, not the dance, the dance of freedom.
Cosmic Urgency said, we tried to tell you in the chat, but you never listened to us.
Oh, did you really? Well, no, that's not true. It's hard to first of all, I take offense to that. I try to pay close attention to you. Did you not? And Angela's in charge of the chat.
Dude, we watched all of your fucking recommendations this weekend, Cosmic Urgency. Get off my case. Of course we listen.
Well, thank you for trying to get me straight in the chat.
Yeah. You were right. You were right.
Yeah.
We were wrong because we were ignorant and misinformed.
Beyond is here, and sort of complimenting Don's Plum, which is so fucking cool.
That's a very cool
Thank you so
username.
much. Thank you for coming by. And I should say, by the way, to our friends who come to our live all the time and where we talk about all things that, there's a little activity going on with Don's Plum on my channel, and so you never know. Some people might be dropping by. Maybe that's Beyond. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It really does mean the world to me, especially 30 years after the fact. Obviously I wanted to have this party in 1997, but to hear from you today is it's a privilege. So thank you for coming by. And if you have any questions, you want me to ask anything, please fire away. If you really love the movie, you might like the book, which you can read for free. The book is called Too Real: A Hollywood Memoir. You can read that for free on Kindle Unlimited. It's really a love letter to people who love the book or who love the movie or enjoy the movie. So you might want to check it out. Would I make another movie like it or similar? I would love to. Yeah, I would love to.
A dozen,
yeah. I have scripts behind me now. You can't see them, but
the other side.
Huh?
The other side.
I can't hear you.
The other side. You were pointing over at
I have scripts
the wrong
behind
shoulder.
me now. Not this side. The other side. But yeah, absolutely. I'd love to make films. I mean, it's my absolute passion, and I think I'm really good at it. I also think that I had something that I was a part of something. Not really that I had anything in particular, but that I was a part of something, and I was a significant part of something that was. And I don't want to call it fresh or whatever, but it was art. We had our Jackson Pollock moment. We spilled our paint on the canvas and it worked, and we were like, "Fuck, what more can we do?" And I felt like that's really where I was in that, at the point that things went bad for Don's Plum. So yeah, I hope that I hope I get a chance to make another movie, and I think this channel is a part of that. So I hope you'll follow if you haven't already, because I really believe that the community that we end up building here is a community that I could potentially make movies with. And I believe that in my heart. I do, and I'm just going to go ahead and walk delusionally along that path until it either comes true or until I wilt away. In my with my dwindling hope, but I'm not gonna lose the dream. Do you know what I mean? So, how do you know what to write, if that makes sense? Like, where do you start when you have an idea? Such an amazing question. I usually start with feelings. I usually start with inspiration that surrounds kind of feelings, like what I kind of want around something. So maybe I think about an idea, like maybe it's a love story. So in a love story, I might think about like, well, where do I want the love story to be a tragedy? Do I want tears? Do I want feelings of grief and loss? And then, does that transform into something, bigger and more beautiful? And then if I like those ideas, if I like an idea like that, say, then I'll just start trying to build my tragedy. So, is it a love comedy? And then I'll start thinking about that. But most of the time I do what everybody else does, which is I look around me and I feel my life around me and I'm like, what's going on in my life? And then I start writing about it and fictionalizing it. And I fictionalize my uncles and my cousins and my neighbors and my, proprietors, purveyors, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Just write the world around you. It's a fucking beautiful world. I'll say this about writing that I think is the truest thing that can be said, which is that, if you see life as the story unfolding around you, or sometimes I put it as from a filmmaker's perspective, which is, viewing life cinematically. I really like to look at life cinematically. So I like to look at the small things and the big things all in that same, how like when you're watching a great movie and maybe they're just focused on something really small, like maybe it's just fingers resting on an armchair, and then they do something and it somehow fills something in, or it just works in some way. I mean, it's maybe a stupid example, but where I'm going is that, finding something cinematic in a detail as simple as what some fingers are doing in a specific moment is sort of how I look at life as it unfolds. So I see the hands, I see the close-ups. Do you know what I mean? I see the wide shots, I see the close-ups as they're unfolding. So it's almost as if like something's happening and in my head I can almost see the different angles or the different way in which that story could be told. It's weird, I suppose. But I just see life cinematically in that way. And so sometimes you'll even see me, Angela can attest to this, I'll move cinematically, which just means like I'll move like the camera. Like you'll see me just crab walking or something, and then I'll just like, I'll be outside and I'll see the moon in a certain way, and then I'll just kind of crab walk like it's like some kind of jib or maybe a dolly.
It's such strange advice. It's just like, it's like you're so talented, you're so naturally talented at what you do. It's almost like it's difficult to extract from you any like instructions, because you just have a way of doing things that works for you, and it's really difficult to translate to other people.
I don't think that's crazy. I think seeing life cinematically is a beautiful way.
It's not crazy at all. Nobody said it was crazy.
Well, or also like unique. The other way to do it is to read like tons and read, because it kind of just forces you to do that. Because I think that most of the great writers I know, or have read, I should say, not that I know, but that I've read, have taken me through journeys and been able to really move me through kind of the breath of life in that book with those characters and in those moments without overburdening me, most of them at least, without overburdening me with like too much detail or too much don't need to know. So they find the cinematic grace, the story grace of every moment. But to your question, just start where your heart desires to start. Where does your heart desire?
Like, where do you start when you have an idea?
Where's your heart, man? Where's your heart? What's the story you want to tell? Tell the story of your heart, your dreams. And if you can't find out what that is, find it by looking around you and looking through that lens of, and understand the simplicity and beauty of life. See a lot of movies, read a lot of books. The one thing about seeing a lot of movies and reading a lot of books, which is something that we typically do around here, I have been in a reading slump. But seeing a lot of movies and reading a lot of books, it shows you, it kind of just opens up your own world to you. When I talk about seeing life cinematically, it's almost like that in terms of, what you've already experienced anyway. So, for example, you'll watch something and you'll be like, holy fuck, I had a similar experience, or I know somebody who had a similar experience. And as soon as you have that thought, you might find in that moment what's very unique about your similar experience. You probably heard the story that every story has been told, right? Well, if that's true, then then approach it the same way I think most writers do, which is to, just grab grab the story that's sitting right in front of you. Have you ever spoken to Harmony Korine? No, I've never talked to Harmony Korine.
Beyond said, your style is like his, but slightly different, or it's similar, I should say.
Yeah. What's so cool about that? That's interesting. You should say that. And I can get really slanted too. Like I can get out there too, which is pretty interesting because he's out there as well. I think he's way more out there than I am.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like he's really uniquely out there. But what's interesting about it is that, the weekend that Kids came out in Los Angeles, the weekend it was released, was the same weekend we were shooting Don's Plum. So I hadn't seen, and we shot, the sort of core of Don's Plum in those first 3 days in July, 70% of the movie. So I hadn't seen I hadn't seen Kids until after we shot the core of, and when I did see Kids, which of course was right after I saw Don's Plum, I was so defeated. I thought that we were we were too late by a fucking year. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I missed by a year. I missed this by a year. I missed this because we had this idea.
Because you also saw the similarity?
Well, immediately. Yeah. Immediately. Well, because, Kids was such a, it was a slice of life. There was a story there that unfolded that was obviously tragic and crazy, but even when you take the AIDS bit out of it, but so it was just interesting. It's pretty cool.
Cosmic Urgency said, I think they're thinking of Larry Clark.
What do you mean?
Because Larry Clark directed Kids.
Well, it depends on if you know Harmony Korine's career. Harmony Korine obviously played an important part in the making of Kids. I
think that there's
Larry Clark's a big deal. That's not to discount Larry Clark at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's also there are some filmmakers that don't have a problem with loose ends, right? So they'll introduce a bunch of stuff for entertainment value and just to create an environment, but they won't care about tying up the loose ends that they've introduced. If they introduce a character that does a thing, you don't have to see them later. It's not like a fully, wrapped up story.
Yeah.
You're definitely the other type of filmmaker where you deliberately introduce things that get wrapped up later. It's one of the reasons I enjoyed your book so much, is because there's so many things that you take us along with, in your journey.
Yeah.
It's amazingly, everything wraps up. Everything has a resolution.
Yeah.
It's just, I appreciate that as the craft of writing. Where it just shows that somebody didn't just throw a bunch of stuff in because they thought it would be interesting, but they actually are deliberately planning. I don't know. I guess that's just an aesthetic choice. That kind of brings us to our.
But it is important to get your resolutions in, and that's
for you, yeah. But there's Harmony Korine, for instance. There's a lot of of stuff that he just throws in there that's super interesting and makes his work extremely unique. But you don't really. But
it's in a non sequitur way and almost.
Yeah, at the end, you're well, if you think back on his movies, you're what happened with that thing? What happened with that?
I mean, I know Larry Clark directed this, but, the I have no legs moment, if that was something written, for example. So I don't know that it was.
Right.
But if it was something written and that was a Harmony Korine idea, or Larry Clark, because I'll gladly be sat at the same table with Larry Clark any fucking day.
No, or in
highly esteemed director.
I think in Gummo, there was a scene where they're at a bowling alley or somewhere, I can't remember, and there's this deaf couple arguing.
Yeah.
And it's only just put in for entertainment value. There's it's just for novelty. Yeah. It's just because this would be an interesting thing to observe. That's it. There's no purpose or point for it. So there's a lot of filmmakers that do that kind of stuff. You're definitely the type that I feel everything is deliberate. And you might not know it as you're watching it, but it gets wrapped up later, and it's very satisfying for the kind of audience like me,
You also might not catch it getting wrapped up.
Right.
This is the other part of it, which is because I just like to add little finishes to everything so that everything feels complete. It doesn't have to be something that you notice is complete. It just has to feel complete. Do you know what I mean? You know that feeling when you walk into the room, you're something's missing in your own room, maybe, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Something's fucking off. Something's missing. Readers get that. Watchers of movies have that.
Yeah.
They're fucking something's missing. Mm-hmm. And it's because there was something that maybe you set up that didn't come to a resolution, or something you introduced that so late and so sort of casually that it felt like, hey, something's missing, or something's off.
What was it recently? We watched a movie where I was bitching about the Chekhov's gun that they introduced.
I don't remember, but I do remember that you bitched.
It just it fucking enrages me.
It drives me crazy too.
Where I was like,
hate it.
why did they introduce a thing that's so loud and then do absolutely nothing with it? It made me think about like, okay, what's going to happen to that thing that you just introduced? And if it's nothing, it's just like the most aggravating dissatisfaction.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why Chekhov's gun requires you to like, I'm not sure how the rule actually goes. I've read it a couple of times.
Yeah, so if you introduce something that is consequential,
you have to resolve it.
You have to resolve it.
Right.
You have to, either it has to pay off or it has to not pay off, but you have to show the audience what happened. But like literally, it's like the example of a gun. If one of your characters brandishes a firearm, now that's going to be top of mind. The whole time you're watching the film, the audience is going to be like, that guy has a gun.
I mean, it's a great thing to say. It's a great thing to point out because there are things that I think maybe writers use mistakenly as world building things or character building things, and they don't recognize that what they're introducing requires more than just that introduction. Like if you're going to world build and you're going to world build and, say maybe violence is a part of it or guns is a part of it in your world, then, you still have to resolve them. If they're a part of that world, then that's like a big part of the tension of your world.
Yeah, I agree.
You still have to resolve that part.
I feel that way too.
And it's also like, there are just the big ones you have to resolve. Some of the little ones that might be a part of your world because you're trying to like, oh no, this is every day in my world. Guns are every day. I would still argue that you would have to resolve that. But anyway.
This is really interesting. Beyond.
Yeah.
Which is a great username,
yeah.
I think. Said, I think the biggest difference is that Kids leaves you on a down and Don's Plum leaves you on an up.
I mean, what a fucking, listen, that's
great.
So fucking cool. You know why that's cool is because that's who I am as like a writer. Like everything I've written is about leaving you up.
Yeah.
But I will take you to the depths. Like I will take you to the depths.
One of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of your writing is that you'll end on an up. I love how you phrase that, beyond.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
You'll end on an up, but it's not a happy ending. I fucking hate happy endings. I always feel like there's such a cop out.
It's not a happy ending.
Because I'm like, life doesn't give you happy endings.
No.
What it does is it gives you challenges you overcome and you learn something about yourself. You're on a journey. Okay. But like everything ending up perfectly, like that never fucking happens. I always feel like it's really insincere and kind of like, I think it insults the audience's intelligence. I think when they do that a little bit too.
I just want to be. That's what I always wanted to be as a writer. Is I want to leave people with. It sucks, but.
It sucks, but. It's perfect. Those are the endings I appreciate most.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of like open endings, like non-endings, Michael Haneke is a really good one because he doesn't leave on an up or a down. He just kind of like leaves.
But with Don's Plum now in particular, that movie. See, now that movie I wanted very much for people to feel inspired about who was running away. Like, hey, these guys are going to be all right. Like I wanted people to believe in the idea that despite what we just saw, that there was still something very much to believe in those fucking lanky ass dudes and those, crazy chicks as they like roll down the street. You know what I mean? To me, that was what it was all about. To me, it was all about, we are fucked up. We will be fine. We are fucked up. We will be fine. That's what I felt like the message was coming from me, at least. Now, everybody had their own damn thing going on now, didn't they?
Oh, Cosmic Urgency answered my question.
What was it?
It was Patterson. We were watching Patterson.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Jim Jarmusch introduces a Chekhov's gun and nothing happens with it. And the entire time I'm like super nervous because he's made this like really consequential warning to the protagonist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, like this is gonna be bad. Nothing happens. It's so aggravating. He just goes about the rest of the movie as if it never happened. Like I just dreamed it. It's so...
And I know that that was definitely not your first Jim Jarmusch, but I think like early Jim Jarmusch can be tricked into that. For me, as soon as I saw that, I was already like skeptical about what it could be. In the
It's a very clear but like specific warning. It couldn't be other things.
I'm gonna probably kill somebody or something with it. Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to turn it into
accidental,
something. Absolutely.
Something, or it's just going to fall and scare you. It's going to be something.
Otherwise, you're just going to piss off your audience or piss me off. Because I don't know if other people care about this shit. Yeah. But I do. I notice that stuff.
And, look, I mean, he's one of the few guys who I give certain certain latitudes to because he's so distinctly beautiful. Like for me, that movie was a distinctly beautiful movie that was extremely well performed, that had great color, that had a really beautiful end to end. I want to make this and I'm going to mold it into that. And that's the whole thing. I'm going to make this and I'm going to mold it into that feel. It was like this movie was like, it felt like clay, or it felt like a canvas that was getting filled out with many layers of, color. And I thought it was fucking wonderful in every possible way, except that it was, of course, as slow gets. It could not be a slower. It's like, very, taste driven in that regards. But we're already talking about movies we already reviewed. We should probably do ours now. We've got a few to get through, don't we?
Yes.
You want to get through them?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first one I want to talk about is just from the sheer angst and anger is the conclusion. We finished the Monsters series on Ed Gein on Netflix. Absolutely nothing. None of what is in the last episode actually happened. So if you're going into these series thinking like, oh, I'm a true crime follower, I'm interested in stories of true criminals and the true events and the true victims and all of this, right? You're not going to get it from the series. It's total bullshit. And that was really aggravating. And it was so disjointed. And several times when I was watching the last episode of the Ed Gein series, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And why the fuck am I watching it? Like, what are they doing? What is even happening?
So while I'll agree that the last episode was shit.
Trash garbage.
What I'll tell you is what is worth seeing. And that, again, is Charlie Hunnam.
Yes.
I don't think that his I think there's a genuine character that he created for the purpose of the character there.
Who is Irish.
Well, at times, look, stop with this, because this guy really put the artist's touch on this performance. This was not an indulgence, it's some kind of self-indulging, sort of thing. Not that I saw. What I saw was a guy who said, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to make bold choices, and I'm going to try to create an experience out of those bold choices for the people who experience this character, who watch this character. And I believe that he achieved that. And I don't disagree with you on some of the notes about what's going on with, the writing.
The writing was
the last episode. The writing just didn't understand. Some credit to the writing was that they had this high concept, this really big idea that they could create a braid of 3 different ways to tell this story. And I get bold in my approaches.
And in the last episode, they brought like
more help.
4 different kinds of more stories they brought in. Like it was just.
I could have fixed that in a writer's room. I'm telling you right now. And why I think I like this movie or this series and why I recommend this series is because although I do think that the showrunner missed the opportunity that they had or were trying to make.
To make a true crime series?
Well, it's not about making a true crime series. And who said that? Who said that was their mandate?
Well, you could invent a story that is like all the things that you want Ed Gein's story to be.
Just don't make up what his mandate was, because that's not necessarily their mandate.
Well, why are you fictionalizing a true crime story? In adapting
a life story into what I watched, whether it's Dahmer, whichever one of these seasons, whether it's the Menendez brothers. Dude, you want to tell me that one of the Menendez brothers told them, that he turned around and stroked it for another inmate? Like, that was invented, probably.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Right.
It wasn't as like absolutely fucking gone wild like this last episode.
Look, I'm just, look, I mean, this isn't, who are we to decide what gets to be gone wild on? But my point is that we, as artists, in our ability to adapt things, we can do things we have certain latitudes to try and create, metaphorically speaking, the idea around what we're trying to convey about the character, the scene, the situation, the entire story, whatever it might be. And so it can be done really, really, really exquisitely well. That might be how we, see, moving in on details or creating like little quips in characters that maybe aren't verifiable, but that might be believably a part of a character like the one
you're
that
trying
we're
to
portraying.
workshop a series that's already produced and like on.
No, I was answering your question.
Well, I didn't have a question. What was my question?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
there's a million ways you could have improved it.
My version of the review, and you're shutting me down. What are you doing over here? What are you doing over here?
Oh, no, I didn't realize. I thought you were workshopping like how you would have improved it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying there were mistakes. I'm not workshopping. I'm just saying that there were mistakes. They were trying to do certain things. You know, that showrunner created it, and it didn't work. And while it didn't work, I commend their attempt. I still think that if you're inspired by great film or great television, it's still worth seeing to see their mistakes, because their mistakes, I think, are fairly obvious, and they're worth thinking about, because I think every writer will probably try in their mind, if you're like the kind of writer who likes to get wild in the way in which, forget about whether it's an adaptation of something real or not. I mean, in this case, we're critical of that aspect of this thing. But as somebody who might get inspired by the work we see, you can also get inspired by the work that doesn't come together quite well, especially when we're treated with some really great performances along the way. And that's what we got here, because it's not just Charlie Hunnam who throws down a great performance. So does Laurie Metcalf.
Laurie Metcalf is amazing the whole way through. Also, I was really delighted to see Robin Weigert. I had to look up her name, but she plays Calamity Jane in Deadwood.
Yeah, one of the best TV characters ever created.
I just get so delighted whenever I see her, because she was so flawless in Deadwood. So she's in this series just for like 1 or 2 episodes. I can't remember. I feel like you could enjoy this series and then just like not watch the last episode, because it's such a fucking train wreck.
Well, I would recommend seeing all the episodes so you can get the whole gist of it. But you know, you do you or whatever, and you may not feel the same way about the last episode as I do, because the last episode has some really interesting stuff in it. It's just, for me, it tried to wrap up what was already a problem going in, and so I kind of knew what to expect, because it was already a mess. You know, they didn't put together all the elements the way that they'd initially envisioned them. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And so they put together what they could from it. And, look, they just made some bad moves. And I think part of that is because, they're trying to get these fucking 9 episodes or 8 episodes, whatever the number is.
It's 8, yeah.
Yeah, 8 episodes, and they're like 45 minutes an episode. It's a lot of real estate for a story that's probably much shorter and should probably have been maybe half that length. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you give so much grace to writers. You're like, yeah, they were bad, they totally failed, but like, it's tough.
Well, it's not about failing. I mean, look, first of all, I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And so I also understand what kind of courage it takes to go out there and try to be different. Like, trying to be different is how you end up different successfully. So if you're going to fail at it, I applaud your failures all the way, because you have the fucking courage to go out there and stick your neck out and try something that maybe nobody else would have. And when it does work, see Natural Born Killers. Everyone's like, oh my God, it fucking worked, greatest thing ever. But that comes from the experiment of all the rest of us. So allow the failures, especially if there's like many successes in there. And where I think they did succeed is that I do think that they delivered, first of all, a very creepy experience. I was creeped the fuck out by Mr. Geen. And I also learned some stuff about him that, whether true or not, was exciting.
This is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, look, I already know as an adapter of my own life, and I say about it, I talk about it in the beginning, well, I never made up anything as far as any of the...
So we're aligned on that. Like, you never made anything up about your story.
No, of course not. I would never.
I don't know why they made anything.
Well, they're not there.
One thing,
so they're not.
If you guys watch this series, you should know that apparently there's no evidence whatsoever of Ed Gein ever corresponding with any other killer ever. So they have this whole, like, I don't know why they make it like like he's having these conversations by letter to all of these other killers that he probably never even knew existed, and they didn't know he existed either. It's not like they had the fucking internet and they knew what was going on in fucking, an insane asylum in fucking Wisconsin or wherever the fuck he lived. Amblin
came up with just a great idea, man. He said, my book could be done like The Social Network, switching between what happened in the courtroom. That's really interesting. Obviously, it wouldn't be the courtroom, but that's very interesting. Unless, of course, I created a fictional side of the story, which is the trial, which is also interesting.
How many, what's your rating for the Ed Gein series?
Still 3 out of 5. I give it 3 out of 5 because I think that, and it's a very enthusiastic 3 out of 5, because I believe that if you like good acting and if you like seeing experiments that maybe even don't work out but had promise, totally worth seeing. 100%.
3 tiny pineapples.
3 tiny pineapples out of 5 tiny pineapples. Nom nom.
I gave it 1.5 tiny pineapples. I think it's a mess. The whole thing is a mess. I think all of my 1.5 tiny pineapples are for the performances. I mean, Charlie Hunnam is like, he does emotion
Then
really.
I don't think you're doing the
He does
performances
emotion really well.
justice.
Hang on a second. He does emotion really well, but he was Irish the whole time.
He was not. First of all, he was not.
He
didn't
would
break
do
his
like
accent
line
until,
to,
like
he
the
would say his
fourth
lines,
episode.
and I was like, "Where did that guy come from? Like, what country is this dude from?" Accent work is really difficult, but like, come on.
He broke his accent a couple of times.
He was doing a lot, I think, and it just slipped. Anywho, we saw a bunch of other stuff.
Okay,
Cosmic
next,
Urgency
yeah.
recommended that we watch Manhunter by Michael Mann.
By Michael Mann, yeah. I realized
Michael Manhunter.
Michael Manhunter. I realized just getting into it that I had already seen it. It was good that I saw it again though, because I really had forgotten the movie mostly. I mean, I knew all the big parts, like I knew all the big turns, and I just remembered the cast.
Does it hold up?
I remember that cast because that the lead guy, I was like, where the fuck did he come from? And now I can say, where the fuck did he go? Like he was literally like in my life,
Yeah.
I'm sure he went on and did a bunch of shit, but I just have no memory of him in anything other than this. And I also thought he was kind of not to be overly critical of a perfectly fine performance. I just didn't find it all that compelling.
I thought the writing made his performance weird because he kept narrating his thoughts, constantly narrating his thoughts. And I was like, oh, okay, well, they're adapting the book too closely. Because the book, obviously, your protagonist is going to think and, you're going to see it on the page. So
by the way, I'll tell you what I
just
didn't
like
realize.
Speaking it.
I'm so sorry. I'll tell you what I didn't realize going in. And even after I'd remembered that I'd seen it before, that it was a part of the whole Hannibal Lecter series.
Yeah, it's based on Red Dragon,
yeah.
which I think is the first one.
I believe it's the first book, yeah.
Those books are so great.
I've only read one. I read the one where he eats the brains. Is that Hannibal?
I think it's Hannibal, yeah.
I read that one.
So how many tiny pineapples did you give Manhunter by Michael Manhunter?
So I enjoyed Manhunter very much. I thought it was a very good movie. It had that deep 80s, synth vibe going on that Michael Mann really does well. I thought that he had not yet entered into too many crazy color stages. There was a couple of moments, like there was a full moon that looked more like they were underwater, and so there was some moments where I was like, "Oh, here we go."
That's so blue.
I wonder if he's
that
colorblind.
nighttime is so blue.
It was just like, dude, it's just like, make bubbles and we'll call it aqua something.
Right. I was like, these guys are under like neon liquor store signs or something. It was so blue.
So sometimes he can be a little bit a little bit crazy. I tell you what he is though. He is the fucking, we've watched a lot of him lately. Michael Mann gets up early and he gets that shot. He gets the sunrise and he gets the sunset. It's like his whole entire fucking exterior shooting schedule revolves around getting that one fucking shot every fucking day. And it really works because his fucking mornings, and I mean, it's a beautiful, holy aesthetic, right? It's this gorgeous fucking, godly aesthetic that he applies so exquisitely well to all of his movies. So I really fucking enjoy seeing that because they really do add to the mood, I think, of the movie. And so I give Manhunter, which is 1984, by the way, I think is the year it came out, or 1986, somewhere in there, early to mid, or mid to whatever, fucking 80s. 3.5 tiny pineapples for me.
Wow.
I thought it was a very good movie, and I would highly recommend seeing it. And it could even be one of Michael Mann's better movies, really.
I would give it 2.5 tiny pineapples. I think if the entire movie took place in Hannibal Lecter's cell, played by Brian Cox, who is just delightful. Anytime Brian Cox is in anything, I'm like seated. he's so wonderful, and he played Hannibal Lecter perfectly. So those scenes were really great, right? I thought the storytelling was such a mess. Like a lot of time, there was a lot of the film where I didn't know what the fuck was going on, which is fine in the beginning because I'm like, okay, well, like I appreciate when they don't like beat me over the head with exposition. I can be a little confused, but it really continued, and then I thought that a lot of like the action was really clumsy. I don't know, man. The sound was bad the whole way through. It was just. Michael Mann.
The sound was quite good. Really, that's so interesting because I thought most of the sound design in that movie was quite well done. The music, and the design itself, which was very, I mean, he's a very muted and toned down guy. He's always been, but he's got a way to, really move around tonally with the music. It's so interesting, it's like,
yeah, I didn't appreciate the soundtrack either. I thought that it was like really overbearing, but also a lot of the characters, when they'd speak, it sounded like it was dubbed. You didn't notice that?
Well, it's,
not Brian Cox. He was perfect.
It's sort you really see that a lot just in 80s movies in general. Yeah. So I just, it's kind of like I think you're more critical of the tech that was there versus the tech that is now. We just don't have the microphones we had. We don't have and rehearsals and the way they shoot and all that is just totally different now. Actors
I also really appreciated
way more natural most of the time now. I
also really appreciated the action freeze frame at the end where the credits crawl up over the freeze frame.
Yeah.
Like it's a scene and then there's somebody does an action. In this case, a little boy is like throwing a rock.
Yeah.
It's like freeze frame.
He's got some great fucking silhouette work.
Yes, I know. Super strong about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, I recommend, you do not recommend seeing.
No.
I do recommend see it. And by the way, you can see it for free. Where did we see it? On Tubi? I think it was on Tubi. So. It was one of those free platforms.
Pluto TV.
Pluto. That's right. It was Pluto. We saw it on Pluto. You can also see it on Criterion.
Right.
Also available on Criterion.
Which would have been a better experience.
Which I didn't know. If I did, I would have watched it on Criterion. Mm-hmm. So available on Criterion, which is obviously one of the best fucking movie sites out there. So.
And then Cosmic Urgency also bid us to watch Starry Eyes, which is a horror movie.
Starry Eyes. Yeah, Starry Eyes.
2016, I think.
Is that when it was? 2016?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll look it up. Do you want me to start?
The 2010s.
Are you going to start or shall I?
Yeah. How did you think about it?
Well, I thought Starry Eyes was fucking terrible. 2014.
2014.
I guess I could say like it was fucking terrible. Look, here's the thing about Starry Eyes, right? Like I feel like it just missed on everything it was trying to do and be. That's what I felt like. I felt like everything it was trying to be and do, it missed. I felt like it didn't actually know what it was. It was interesting because we got a makeup movie out of this because Angela was like, I'm going to show you the movie it was trying to be, which is, Jennifer's Body, which we'll get into in a second. Uh-huh. But this movie fucking missed it on every level because for me, the first half of it didn't know what it was at all. Didn't know what it wanted to be. It was fucking, I didn't find much interest in any of what was going on. Had a hard time hanging on. In fact, it was close to a DNF. And it only didn't become a DNF because the second half of the movie, it had a better idea what it wanted to be.
Yeah, because that's when it gets really into the horror elements.
Because it gets into the horror elements, which were generally speaking kind of fun.
They had super great makeup in that movie. The makeup was amazing.
Yeah.
So they did some like body horror stuff, and the makeup was just impeccable.
Correct.
Yep.
So there was a good time there, a good time to be had there. So if you're into the gore and you're into all that stuff, you're into that like really, again, like this movie wanted to be campy. It didn't, I'm sorry. I don't know if it did. I didn't want to be campy is the question. Like, was it camp or was it not camp? I couldn't fucking figure it out from one to the other. Obviously the gore makes it sort of campy by default, but whatever. I just felt like, was it a TNA horror flick? I don't know how do they have a term for the tits and ass in horror films?
Roger Corman movies. He did it best.
You know what I mean? Like it was like on that, which by the way, when you commit to those, it can be really fun. We just watched.
Well, that's another thing is that he should have. I feel like this filmmaker would have done a better job if he just committed to being a B movie,
right?
And like did more absurd things, like more, like make everything extra weird.
I think that's. I think
he was just trying to be too serious, and he didn't pull it off.
Took himself too seriously in the wrong moments. Should have just let it go and been a goofy B movie horror film.
There was also a lot of
probably would have worked out really well.
I'm sorry, I stepped on you.
Yeah, you're good. I stepped on you. We step on each other. It's part of our little dance.
I just think that it's just like, okay, if you want to watch a movie where you see like a tall, slender brunette like writhing on the bed, writhing on the floor, like holding her breath and like straining and writhing, this is the movie for you. You get to watch like 10 full minutes all throughout the movie. It's the most redundant thing I've ever seen. I was like, okay, obviously you guys are really impressed with this actress's ability to do this writhing thing. And so they just did it in the beginning, in the middle, in the end, all the way throughout. It was very frustrating.
Yeah. Well, so Yeah, so I'm going to give that one like, so to me, it was a god awful movie. I'm giving it two and a half tiny pineapples. The reason I'm giving it 2.5 is because I really felt like the second half of the movie did work in a lot of ways. It did provide a lot of entertainment. I actually ended up sticking around for it because despite the fact that I knew I already didn't like the movie and nothing in that second act or, changed that for me, or in the second half of the movie, really, act and a half changed that for me. So it was still a bad movie to me, but it was a bad movie that got like more entertaining and kind of like, if I paid my money, I'd be like, all right, I'll fucking finish it. Mm-hmm. In this case, I wanted to watch it because, my buddy Cosmic Urgency wanted me to fucking watch it, or you recommended it. So, and I don't mind that it was a bad movie because I thought that it was still worth seeing, and I'm glad I saw it in that way. So 2.5 for me. What do you give it?
I would give it 1 tiny pineapple.
1 tiny pineapple.
I think it's a skip for me.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a movie
about
a demon possession succubus created out of a normal girl, then you should watch Jennifer's Body, which we did.
So Jennifer Body. So again, there was another movie where I was like, oh shit, I saw this. I did see this. And I think when I saw it, I didn't really like it the first time. I liked it more this time, quite a bit more actually this time. Because, first of all, I just love a good succubus.
It is a really amazing and wonderful, like it's a very fruitful subgenre of horror films, of horror stories.
I love a good succubus, and I thought, she pulled it off. I thought there were really great performances by both Amanda Seyfried and by
Megan
Fox. And I wasn't expecting it. I don't remember how I felt about the performances in particular the first time, but I thought Megan Fox really did play that character extremely well. Mm-hmm. I got sucked into her performance. I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a movie that did have more identity than the one prior. I also thought that the writing was fairly fucking decent. It was nice that all the characters had really distinct voices and, they moved about as individuals, even if they were.
Yeah, that's because
the casting was weird as fuck with that dude.
I know.
The dude who ends up.
You were saying about the writing?
Yeah.
And I wanted to interject that it was Diablo Cody's screenplay.
Right, who won for Juno, I believe.
Yeah, and she just never misses.
Yeah, so she's like, and she's accomplished.
It's another one where
it's got like even if you didn't like that movie or really any movie that she probably that she would have written. If you don't like any of Diablo Cody's work, it would be hard to argue that there wasn't some kind of refined feel to it. At least, like you can tell this person knows their way around. Mm-hmm. Words, and how to arrange them.
Yeah,
and
also like
character.
All throughout the movie, they keep introducing these absurd things, but it does like tie up. Like she ties up all the loose ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of really absurd storylines that get introduced in the beginning, and then in the third act, you see it get resolved, and you're like, oh, that's rewarding.
Yeah. By the way, if you want us to watch something, just let us know, because if we haven't, we'll probably watch it. I know we haven't gotten to everything yet. We try to. But you know what I mean. Fast
forward like just a little while and we're like super big time, like we have like a huge following, and then we got the studios sending us like exclusive
That's
DVD.
What I want. I want us to be like large enough where we're getting like, okay guys, we saw the fucking new Frankenstein. I'm telling you all about it. Got it
before it comes out in theaters.
On the 70-inch OLED with fucking 7.1 surround. Let's go. I want that. Well, right now we're just.
What is your rating on Jennifer's Body?
Jennifer's Body gets. It's going to get Jennifer's Body. Jennifer's Body gets, I'm going to give it a 3.
3 tiny pineapples?
3 tiny pineapples. I think that everything was done fully adequately. It was an enjoyable experience, but forgettable the first time and forgettable the second time.
Yeah, right. I would give it 4 tiny pineapples.
Oh.
I just think it's immensely enjoyable to watch a movie that knows exactly what it is. It knows that it's like campy, and it knows that it's like absurd. Mm. And it sells it the whole way through.
Yeah.
And the pacing is like perfect. And it does everything that it sets out to do. Like it has all the great horror elements. It has incredible acting. It has phenomenal makeup the entire time.
Yeah, the makeup was great.
Yeah. And amazing sets. It's just like, it was just a really, really well-crafted film.
Best black vomit ever. Yeah. Best absolute black vomit.
I also like the whole time just remembering that it was written by a woman and directed by a woman. So I just think that I was just tickled about them being like, what if we were teenage demons?
Yeah. Cosmic says that it's a knockoff of a Canadian movie called Ginger Snaps.
Oh, wonderful.
So let's write that one down.
Yeah,
so
that's
Cosmic's
great.
got the fucking, he's got the...
You got to curate our show for us. I guess you already do.
Amlin's asking how similar Entourage was to real life, and was Kevin Connolly the smart logistical friend? No.
No, I'm sure he likes to think he's that way.
No, not in our group.
Kevin Connolly's deposition, he showed up and he was trying to intimidate the lawyers by saying like, I'm going to drop truth bombs and you guys aren't going to know what to do with me. And like, he's just being really arrogant and show off.
There was nobody back then.
I think that's how he thinks of himself.
There was nobody back then that played the role of E in our lives. You know what I mean? Like, there was no, like, we didn't have a friend that like Leo was represented by Rick Yorn. And I just remember the first time I met Rick Yorn, I was like, this guy? And then like, after seeing him a few times, I was like, wow, I'm just so surprised. I even said to Leo,
you're not explaining.
I just didn't find him a very compelling guy. I was like, wow, this is the guy you're going to put your career hands in. And he's like, there was nothing, like, I can't remember the specific conversations. I can just remember the conversations being where I was like, wow, I would not trust this guy necessarily with my career. Like I would want to know more, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, what's he bringing to the table? And then I even brought that up with Leo. I didn't put this in the book because who the fuck am I to give Leo advice on his career? But I brought it up with him. I was just like, why, dude? Why Rick Yorn? I'm just curious. And he said that he liked him enough and that he was free. So he was like, so basically Rick Yorn, and this is where like Rick is super slick. He's slick Rick, dude. He's way smarter than I ever gave him credit for. And that's pretty obvious. But in that moment, I was like, well, God fucking damn. Because he was just like, I'll rep you for free. And Leo was like,
I'm cheap.
Free versus 10%. Free versus 15% because he ended up convincing Leo to drop his fucking agent. So now you're talking about an actor saving 25%. Part of what people don't necessarily recognize when it comes to, star power and what people think actors get paid. Oh my God, I got $20 million. He's only going to see, or she's only going to see a third of that, actually in their bank. So
did he do it for free because having a roster that includes DiCaprio means that other people want to pay you to rep them?
Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah. It worked. Of course it worked. It worked so amazingly. And of course, Leo, I'm sure, ended up paying him. But it worked amazingly.
I'm wondering why you brought that up when somebody was talking about Entourage and Kevin Connolly. Why'd you bring up Rick Yorn?
Well, because he talked about Kevin, they specifically said Kevin Connolly, right? So the role of Kevin Connolly in our group would have been Rick Yorn. But Rick Yorn wasn't really like a part of our group.
In Entourage, Kevin Connolly plays an agent?
He ends up managing the star, which is...
No, I think that's Jeremy Piven, isn't it?
No, Jeremy Piven plays the agent.
Okay.
And then E is the
I've
manager.
never seen the show, so I'm guessing.
Well, then you can take my word for it.
You watched the show?
I didn't watch it beyond knowing what it's about. I bet you I didn't watch more than 2 or 3 episodes.
Beyond wants to know, what is the difference between a manager and an agent?
A manager is not legally allowed to negotiate any deals on behalf of their clients in the state of California. Managers are there to advise and guide actors on the decisions that they make about their career. So that is what movies they will take, what television appearances they will make, what interviews they'll do, who in town they'll work with specifically if they're a big star, for example. That's technically what managers are versus agents. And agents, much like lawyers, are not only so they're state licensed, I guess, and they're basically almost like a legal representative of the actor, and they're licensed to procure employment on behalf of their clients, and that includes the negotiation of the deals and these kinds of things. So agents are very practical, and managers are very visionary and sort of, the kind of the fluff, if you will, of
That's
a career.
Interesting. Do you think that agents have to get like certified or whatever kind of rules they have to?
They just have to. I don't know if they're. I think they just have state law. I think they're just governed by state laws.
Right. Because if they're handling negotiations, then they have to make sure that they're not taking too much. Like, so the law protects the client from being like stolen from.
And look,
right?
I think so. It's more about like just who's licensed and who is allowed by law. And I don't know if it's law or union. I think it's the California law though. It's been a long time since I looked this up, but I did actually look it up. So it will either be the unions, but I don't think it's the unions, or it's the state. But the state only allows agents versus managers. So managers are not legally allowed to. In fact, if a manager negotiates any aspect of a contract, money, fucking perks, whatever, they can lose that client. That client can break their agreement with the manager legally. And so I know this because I worked with Edie Robb. And Edie Robb had multiple clients. I won't name who, but multiple clients, because some of them are famous, but had multiple clients who left her because she negotiated deals. Because she, probably to her last day as a manager, because she's now retired, she negotiated deals and she's not allowed to by law. And so if a client got sick of her, wanted to stop paying her for a project, they'd be like, yo, I'm just going to report you, dude. And she'd get sanctioned and whatever, so she, so she's kind of like, and she's not like sort of the exception. In other words, these rules exist and managers negotiate deals all the time. Sometimes they're the only representative of a client. Mm-hmm. And it's just really whether or not the client, him or herself, wants to take issue with it. Anyway, I hope that helps.
Beyond also is asking, like, also, why are there so many producers on a movie and what's the difference? And is the director a type of producer?
No, the director is not a type of producer. The director's responsibility is to to direct all the action and cameras and the capturing of the movie. And so they're responsible for, for seeing the vision through. So if the movie is, whatever, completely discombobulated, that would be the director's fault, typically. The reason why there are so many producers is because producers can have many, many different roles. They can be creative producers. They can be attachment producers. They can be financing producers. They can be casting producers. And all of them in those different sort of subcategories, which don't actually get distinguished in their credit or in any way on the record. But what all of them would have done in order to get a producing credit, whether that's an associate, co-executive, or producing or actual producing credit, would have brought something substantial to the table. So if it's a casting producer, that means that, hey, my name is Dale and my friend is Pedro, and I can get Pedro on your movie because he's my friend. And they're like, you can get Pedro Pascal on my movie. Yeah, he's my friend. I can get him, no problem. And then so they get me the script, and then I take the script to Pedro. Pedro reads it, and he's like, yeah, I fucking love this thing. I'd love to do it. Boom, I'm a producer. Waka waka, just like that. Another way to produce is to find a screenplay or a writer that you really like, and then you sit down and you dig in and you spend whatever period of time developing that writer and that screenplay into something that can be produced. And you take it out, you sell it, and you're attached. Boom, you're a producer. So there's just different ways to be producers. Executive producers are often financing producers, but they can also be producers who are bringing significant attachments, including themselves. So we heard about in the Lively Baldoni, debacle, that she was given an executive producer credit. That's often a credit given to actors as a vanity credit. It's kind of to shut them up a little bit, really. But executive producers can also be people who actually craft or take part in the crafting of the movie itself. Anything from casting to sitting in the editing room making decisions. So, hope that helps. Directors are directors. They just, they're focused entirely creatively on the writing, on the performances themselves in particular.
Kindly DiCaprio wants to know, on all the projects you've produced, did you do the same things or different things?
Different things. Always different things.
But same title.
Same title, yeah. So on, like on April Apocalypse, I was kind of there to try to save the movie, if you will. In other words,
In
it was
the edit?
in the editing bay. He wrote this nonlinear movie, and then they didn't know how to shoot a nonlinear movie, basically, which there's so much you have to do to shoot something that is written nonlinearly. There's so much you have to do to prep that kind of thing and make that work. And so they just kind of didn't pull it off. It happens. I mean, fuck, you go out, it's easy to do. But we recognized that they did pull off some really good work. Like,
Who's we?
RD and I. Mm-hmm. So RD and I saw the movie. We're like, we can make this work. So we huddled up with them. We said, hey, let's go through a new edit. And then while we're doing that, we'll write some pickups and we'll finish this thing off and we'll put it out. And so my job there was basically to get in the editing room and to fix the cut. And that's what I did. And I did a really good job. And then I also developed, or worked with the writer to develop the pickup scenes. And then I also, with RD, we produced the pickup scenes. So we shot some new zombie stuff, and we shot a wet down street, and a couple of cool things to round out the movie and sort of fill in the holes, if you will.
But then in a small group.
Now in small group, I was the overall producer. So I produced basically all of that movie. That means like I started with draft 1 and I worked with the writer for 18 months in development of the script. Then we raised the money. And so I was out raising the cash with the writer, director, and the other producer. And we raised $1 million. Then I assembled the line producer and approved the rest of the major attachments of the above line crew. I brought Angela on board to cast. So Angela and I worked hand in hand in casting the movie. Pretty much every single role in the movie we cast.
That was fun.
That was fun. So we just kind of did everything across the board on that movie. I did everything across the board as a producer on that movie. And then was able to do things like bring you on board as a casting director. It was nothing you'd done before, but I knew you'd just kick ass at it because it was like, as soon as I explained what it was, you were like, oh, fuck, let's go. And then,
it was really weird too, because I had never done it before, but I was working with and auditioning actors who'd encountered, worked with casting directors a bunch, right? Like they'd been cast before, but they also went on a shit ton of auditions. And I kept getting this feedback that I was like the nicest one they'd ever worked with. And I was like, I'm really not doing much. Like, are these people just terrible?
Yeah. Well, people, a lot, like, I think, it happens, dude. If you did it every day for 25 years, you'd be like, fucking send it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
I would just like write them
movie, so
letters
like,
of appreciation, like little notes of appreciation. And they were like so knocked over by that.
Yeah, it's like,
wow,
call me in 5 years would be my response to that if I was a casting director. Oh, did you? Call me in 5 years and tell me if you're still doing that. You're fucking casting every fucking day like me, okay, hon? That's how I'd be about it. By the way, there's a lot of other producing I did that didn't make it to the screen. I created a what do you call it? Children of the Corn sequel. Mm-hmm. That got made.
But that's more as a writer.
I wrote it, but I created it.
But that wasn't a producer job.
My job was to be a producer on it, but I ended up walking away from the project.
Oh, I see.
But, I created the project.
And then also with Dawn's Plum, like, so you were writing, but then all through post, you were producing because
Yes.
RD was the director. Do you feel like that was like a co-directorship? No. Because on set, he was the director and you were just like...
Where, in Dawn's Plum?
Yeah.
Well, Dawn's Plum, I was a creative producer. So my functions would be more director-like than producer-like. I was purely creative. So I didn't make really any major decisions until later. So after the film had got made and during post, that's when I started playing that kind of a producer role because I'd picked up on it. So I played more of that producer role in the second shoot. But the first shoot, I was just pure writing and creative producing, meaning I was there to support Artie Robb and really to challenge him and stretch him as much as I could whenever I felt like there was any kind of weakness going on. And that happened both as... So I was the lead writer on that movie. So I was really the guy who plotted that whole film out in terms of like, okay, concept by David Stutman. Mm-hmm. Then we assembled they assembled me, David, and RD and Bethany, but really it was me, RD, and Bethany most of the time, where we came up with all the different scenarios. And then my job, additionally, was to really like structure out the whole movie. So I was the guy who sort of was responsible for us being able to really have a movie to cut together at the end in that way, in the same way that any writer would. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's weird because it was improv, so it was very difficult to do. It was a very different thing to do, but my brain's just scattered enough to handle this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Delicate's here. Yay! What's up, Delicate? What's going on? Good, you're here for the best part. We still have a couple of these shows to get through, shall we?
Yes.
So we also watched this documentary called...
Oh my God, it was so great.
Yeah, we watched a documentary on YouTube.
5 Tiny Pineapples. It's called Listers.
It's called Listers.
And it's on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
And it's this guy's like little YouTube channel where he's got like 3 videos, one of which is a trailer and the other one is this documentary.
I'm going to go put it on the... I'm going to put it in
Guys, it was so great. It's a documentary about competitive bird watching, and it's just lovely. The whole thing.
I'm gonna go grab it. I'm gonna put it in the a link in the comments for you guys. It's called Listers.
Yeah, it's super funny. I loved it.
I'm gonna put it
5 Tiny Pineapples for me. Guilty Angel says they're getting flash flood warnings in LA.
God damn it.
I gotta text my mom.
Yeah, because she might be.
She'll say the same thing she says all the time, which is
No, we're good.
She was like, "Well, I put some rocks on the trash bin so they don't get washed away like that one time."
All right, give me a minute while I do this. Sorry, I meant to do this before we started and I didn't.
Do you know what your rating is for Listers, the documentary?
What's it called? Listers?
Listers.
Command V. Save. Okay, it's just called Listers.
Yeah.
All right. This documentary is, it's everything I love in filmmaking.
Yeah, me too.
It's everything I love in filmmaking. It really is everything I love in filmmaking. It's just these 2 dudes. They put whatever they got together. They could put money, whatever they could put together.
An incredible feat of editing. I thought it was wonderful.
It's just great filmmaking.
Amazing. Top
to bottom. I mean, I could be critical of some things, and I might be in terms of the way when I hand out my actual rating of this little gem on YouTube, but it does way more things than it right than it does anything wrong, and it also is a testament to these guys understood the burden that they had given themselves in this idea that they had. They understood that they were going to have to really walk through fire to come out with what they ended up coming out with, and I think it might be a really beautiful example of how like the world takes over. Or how the universe takes over in these moments, because, during this fucking exquisite fucking journey that they're on to try and catalog as many birds as possible in the same way that competitive bird watchers do throughout the country, they're doing it against their will. It eventually just becomes like the thing that they don't really want to be doing. And that almost becomes a realization at the end of it, even though now it's become like this thing that's like integrated so deeply into their lives. And so it's just this great on its face, perfect example of the trials and tribulations of art. We get on this channel people who want to talk about making movies, and they want to talk about writing books, and they want to talk about doing these major projects. And I'm your guy to talk about those things, because the one thing I'm going to tell you about is the immense, deep love for and commitment to that process that you have to go through. And that means that you have to endure the pain in a way that in some sadistic way is pleasurable, or in some way is at least the fire, the fuel that you need, or that you use, maybe that you don't need, but the fire that you use, because it's the only fire that you're going to fucking get. Because it's the part of the process that tests your soul. It's the part of the process. It's the birthing of this thing, right? Like birthing, if you think about the pain and the struggle of just the whole birthing process, well, this movie puts that on display in independent filmmaking in a perfect way.
Guilty Angel's like competitive bird watching.
I give it.
I know it sounds so dumb.
Yeah.
I know it sounds so dumb, but it's a really, really wonderful documentary. I totally recommend it.
I give it 4.5 tiny pineapples for me. There were some flaws.
4.5.
4.5.
Why the half tiny pineapple demerit?
Yeah, the demerit comes from just I don't think they knew how to really wrap it up.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think they knew how to wrap it up. I think I think that there was, but it's not necessarily like a major fault on the documentary itself, because in a weird way, it does play into the overall narrative of, you know, them getting into something they had no idea what they were getting into, and then ending up with what they ended up with, right? Like if in the end of this thing, they were twirling in, you know, and in the fields and becoming, you know, bird experts, and, you know, that would have been great too. But because they're like, you know, kind of, they fell off of the idea of bird watching as certainly competitive bird watching, I think they just couldn't really quite put the cap on it the way I think I would have loved to have been in the editing room when they were cutting up the end. That's all I have to say about it. So they get a half a tiny pineapple deduction for not having me in the editing room.
There's your first mistake right there.
Fan-fucking-tastic movie. Absolutely watch this thing. You will enjoy it if you enjoy humans. If you enjoy humans, especially quirky, funny, silly, stupid humans. And you will especially love it if you love nature, if you love birds and the sound of birds and the looks of birds. Because there's a lot of them in
excellent photography the whole way through.
Yeah.
Is that everything? Did we... 5
tiny pineapples.
We watched a bunch of shit.
4.5. Find that in there. I think that's it. Yeah, we'll call it a wrap on that. We did watch more things, but
Guilty Angel's bored of us. She wants us to talk about Blake.
Yes. LA is a sewer. I've lived here since I was 6, she said. LA is a sewer, but it's
Guilty Angel said, let's talk Blake.
Yes, let's talk Blake. It is time.
So what is the news? Because I know that there were documents that were unsealed, and so I grabbed them so we can go over that. But is there something else that I'm missing?
Yeah, well, let's go over some things. First of all, I guess
What do you have?
Let me get to I have to get to my page here. Guilty Angel's calling us out. She's like, fuckers, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Lee was like showed up, was like, are they talking about Blake yet? And they're like, no, they're still talking about stupid movies.
Did they say that?
No. And then Lee was like, okay, I'll come back later.
Did she really?
Yes.
She's like, I'll be back. I'll check in. She's like, these fuckers, I got things to do. All right. Well, hey, man, you know, you find the part of the program that's you like the most and you hang around. Okay, here we go. Boom, where are they? Okay, so Blake Lively, she sued Justin Baldoni. I don't know if you know this. No, seriously, I kid. Yeah, so first thing is I got into this argument over on, well, let me get my fucking notes up.
You shouldn't get into arguments.
Why? It was not like an argument, really.
I mean, at this point, if you don't know the true story about what Justin Baldoni's involved in, then you're willfully like ignoring. There's so much information out there that would keep these people from parroting the same talking points. It's like they're either bots or they're working for the PR in some other capacity. Yeah. Or they're just not paying attention. People are just, or they're not paying attention.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're just filled with a blind hatred towards somebody that they don't know or something they don't know anything about. So you've heard the name Clair Ayoub by now?
Yes. So her,
I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Her declaration, where she is a witness for Blake Lively.
Do you have it? Can we read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So her declaration.
Let's read this. So this is her declaration. We have not yet heard the tape. We're still waiting the tape. But this is her declaration. And by the way, what I was talking about before you read this, Angela, is that there's an argument I got into on It Ends With Lawsuits, because 1 month after secretly recording him, Clair Ayoub appeared with Steve Sarowitz. I'll show you this video. And I'll just show you, how they just stretch every fucking thing into something that supports a silly,
what'd they say?
Derailed. Well, it's not what's going to be more relative after.
So they're in a video together, and these people are saying
that took place after the recording and after this event that's described in this filing, right? So in this filing, this thing happened, and then this event happened, and I'll show you this event.
I mean, the declaration doesn't have that quote. It's just a declaration of who this person is that provided that quote. Okay, and how it was obtained. So this is basically for the court to know that this isn't hearsay. This is actually a recording. Okay. So the declaration by Clair Ayoub,
Yes.
it says,
Ayoub, thank you.
I'm over 18, a sound mind, and otherwise competent to make this declaration. The evidence set out in the foregoing declaration is based on my personal knowledge. I wrote and directed a film called Empire Waste, which was produced by Wayfarer Studios. Justin Baldoni, a founder of Wayfarer, was a producer. As part of my work on Empire Waste, I had repeated negative interactions with Mr. Baldoni and his associates, including verbal abuse by Mr. Baldoni. I asked Wayfarer that Mr. Baldoni not be permitted on set during the majority of production as a result of those experiences.
That's fucking huge.
Empire Waste was set to be released in the fall of 2024. In August of that year, as a result of my experiences with Mr. Baldoni and ongoing press coverage related to Mr. Baldoni and It Ends With Us, I requested that he not be involved in Empire Waste's marketing or public relations efforts. Wayfarer agreed to my request.
Which seems, by the way, reasonable, right? I mean, you're like, dude, you're Mr. Controversial right now.
Yeah,
Maybe don't
like,
show up for this one. It's a girl movie.
Don't taint my project.
Yeah.
Okay. Less than a week after reaching that agreement, I was contacted by the assistant to Steve Sarowitz, who is the co-founder and co-chairman of Wayfarer, to schedule a time for me and Mr. Sarowitz to speak. Mr. Sarowitz's assistant did not identify a topic for the meeting. I feared that Mr. Sarowitz wanted to discuss my recent request related to Mr. Baldoni. Worried that Mr. Sarowitz might pressure me to abandon the prior agreement that I had reached with Wayfarer, I recorded our meeting. A true and correct copy of that recording produced in Discovery is, and then that's the numeric label for it, it's being submitted with this declaration as Exhibit 1. I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Signed, Clair Ayoub. And so this is the person who, I can just pull up the exact quote. Should I?
Yes.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me just navigate there.
And then after you do that, I'm going to play this video for everyone. So let me get my my headphones on. I don't wear my headphones because I don't like the delay. And we have a few frames delay in order to compensate.
Okay, so Sarowitz this is from Blake Lively's amended complaint, okay? Sarowitz confessed to another witness, who is Clair Ayoub, we know now. An individual who was working with Wayfarer on an unrelated project, that if Miss Lively or Mr. Reynolds, in quotes, ever cross the line, ever, then I will go after them. He declared, I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas. There were 39,000 dead bodies. There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done, minimum. Not dead, but you're dead to me. So that kind of dead, but dead to a lot of people. If they ever get me to that point, then I'll make it worth their while because I'm going to spend a lot of money to make sure the studio is protected. So that's what Steve Sarowitz said in the meeting to Clair Ayoub, and she provided this evidence.
I got to tell you, man, like, first of all, and so I got
literal death threat.
It is, even if you want, even if it's, you think it's, you don't take that lightly when it's coming from a billionaire.
A billionaire making a literal death threat.
Fuck.
And so she's saying that she's intimidated by him. I the fuck would be too.
Of course. And obviously that ire is not pointed to her. So while she's intimidated, she's only intimidated about like the eggshells on which she walks. She already knows somebody else broke them beyond repair, meaning Blake Lively or whatever. But there's nothing that's not intimidating about that. Also, of course, this person is in some way controlling their movie and the future of their movie because they're a fucking studio that greenlit and subsequently produced the film. That
is a tough meeting because you know that the transformational vocabulary is like, I will do this to her for wronging us, and I will also do this to you if you wrong me.
Well, this is where I thought it's just entirely bold and just brazen, really. If you're going to why would you say that in front of a filmmaker? I'm so shocked. I thought for sure it had to be somebody that would be more of an employee basis.
I thought so too.
Instead, you have this filmmaker, with whom they're only going to have this one relationship.
A week after she's telling Wayfarer, reaching an agreement that I don't like Justin Baldoni, I don't want him around. And they're like, okay, fine. Then he has a meeting with her where he is like the last person who didn't like Justin Baldoni and tried to decide where he was going to go and what he was going to be and how he's going to be involved. I'm going to make death threats about that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So it's like she's currently stepping towards the line he's telling her she can't cross, or else, as a billionaire, he's making death threats.
He's telling her how to what extent he will go.
Yeah.
To protect his studio above and or from you, I guess, or from any idea that you
Yeah,
may
and
have.
he's comparing it to fucking international war is what inspires him. What
And
the
of course,
fuck
what's
is wrong
going
with this
on
guy?
around them is the accusation that they SH'd, that someone or many of them, one or more of them, SH'd somebody, namely Blake Lively, and that turned into retaliation. And then you have this woman, and then this woman standing there listening to this man talk about retaliation, talk about doing whatever he can and bring whatever resources he may have.
That is like such a thinly veiled threat to her. About
So let
her.
me play for you this. This is, do you have it on your screen?
Oh no! How did you see it already?
Yeah, I saw it.
What happens?
Well, so I'll just tell you. So this is going to, so I get into this argument because, you know, they put this up on, it ends with lawsuits. And they put this video up and they say this is evidence of her not being truthful about this because this is her and Steve Sarowitz. They're at a screening of this movie that she made. And so this is her behavior at the screening. And so they want to portray this woman as somebody who is not afraid, who is a hypocrite and a liar, ostensibly, about her experience with Sarowitz.
She doesn't. Are they saying that she's supposed to feel physically threatened? Her declaration doesn't say anything like that. Her declaration was saying that. Sorry.
Her declaration was saying what?
Just play the video.
All right. So I'm going to watch this. It's 1 minute long, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Ayoub, I'm the writer and director of Empire Waste, and this has been a 5-year journey for us to make the film you're about to see today. That's hitting theaters this Friday, and we just heard we're going to be in 110 theaters across the country.
It's a big fucking deal.
And this is why tonight is so special, is Steve and his team basically flew all of us in to celebrate here with you all. And it's our chance for us to reunite after years of being away from each other as we've been making the movie. So just give it up for yourselves for being here tonight. It's been so special for us. Oh, and we're going to do a talk back after the movie, so you get to hear from everybody who's worked on it, which is, I'm a little biased, the best. I love it. So, y'all, this is a movie about teens learning to love their bodies through fashion design. It is about learning to love yourself exactly as you are. It's also very funny. If I do say so myself, I'm very biased, right? But it's super funny, super fun. So just have a great time and enjoy Empire Waste. Thank you.
And there's the big Steve. So, you know, they're saying that this is evidence. You know, there's just like this
They're saying it's
gang
evidence of
them.
what?
Her saying that her disposition there. Oh, sorry, her disposition there is evidence that she's lying. They're saying that her disposition there proves that she was not scared of Steve Sarowitz. That Steve Sarowitz did not threaten her. That she does not appear to feel or to look threatened. And it's just like, what are you talking about? First of all, you can't in that moment decide for her how she feels. You don't know how she feels about Steve Sarowitz. She obviously isn't going to feel in the moment
She's not like
afraid because he's standing beside her.
She's staying like she's social distancing, right? Like she's staying like 6 feet away from him. Like she's apart from him. She's not even in the same frame as he is most of the time. So yeah,
Right.
if you're gonna say that you need some sort of evidence that she's uncomfortable around him, it seems like it makes sense to me that she would like hand him the mic and then scurry off. That's exactly what she did. You know what I mean? Like it's super weird that they're making a thing out of this. I don't even know why it's relevant anyway, because she proactively recorded the meeting because she was worried about whatever he might say, that she might need to protect herself, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that she was worried for her physical safety.
No.
So why should she be intimidated? Also, if this is after the meeting, then you don't know how the meeting ended.
Well, I said
Maybe they came to an understanding and she feels fine with this guy. But that doesn't mean that she started out that way and wasn't going to record the meeting because she didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It is super weird for the billionaire financier's assistant to call a meeting and not tell you what the fuck it's about, especially after you've been making complaints about the co-owner of the studio.
Who did that?
Claire Ayoub was making complaints about Justin Baldoni.
No, I'm saying, but she didn't know why she was meeting Sarowitz?
Yeah, she said in her declaration that the assistant did not tell her the purpose of the meeting, and that's why she recorded it, because she was on the defensive.
I have no idea what, and there,
She's
obviously
like,
there was a lot of bad
I
press
could be
going on.
getting in trouble right now. You know?
So there you go. It's there you go. So she, by the way, she's the woman who, came out as being the person who recorded the Steve Sarowitz thing. You read it. And so they're trying to discredit her with stupid shit like this. It's absurd.
Well, that just seems like the Melissa Nathan Jed Wallace special, doesn't it?
And then somebody says, y'all, this woman, like in the comments, they're like, y'all, this woman has literal ties to the New York Times. I just think people are so completely crazy. Like, they think that the New York Times, that Blake, like, if you want to get your fucking head around what people think, and this is why it's a laughable case. It's like a laughable case. They think that she was able to put in her pocket, Blake Lively, the New York Times, Sony Studios, Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds, all of this to steal from Justin Baldoni. It ends with us. So the other thing that came out was some testimony. And Justin Baldoni's agent was deposed. And in his deposition, he said, in sum and substance, that Justin Baldoni felt as though Blake Lively was extorting him to gain control of the movie. And again, man, I can't fucking express the stupidity of this. But I will say this with a fucking decent amount of confidence. It is entirely possible, if not likely, that Blake Lively, Sony Studios, and others involved directly and indirectly with the movie, saw these men as out of control. Saw these men as spinning this thing out of control.
That's right.
Saw them as a threat. Remember that, and by the way, this also came out in the testimony from, I believe, Blake's either agent or somebody tied to Blake Lively in her testimony or this person's testimony. They said that there were no incidences spoken by Blake to them about her feeling any issues or having any issues with Baldoni, with Heath, with anybody in the second half. So there's a tale of two halves. The first half is this thing's out of control.
Are you talking about Danny Greenberg's deposition?
I'm not talking about his.
Because there's three others I want to talk about.
So let me say what I'm saying. This is I'm on Blake's side. I think it's her agent, but I'm not entirely positive. When you might tell me when you go over yours. But let me get this out because I've been thinking about this for a minute. So it's a tale of two fucking halves. Blake Lively's, the first half, you have Blake Lively, you have everybody. Blake Lively, you have the other producers, you have Sony. You can see it all in the evidence. Seeing this thing being sort of out of control, right?
Yeah.
These guys are committing offenses these guys are doing things that are offending people to the extent that they're filing complaints about these things. These complaints aren't just staying local, but they're going all the way up to Sony. It's a fucking problem, right? So what really happened here is that these guys had lost control of their fucking movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Sony executive tells Jamie Heath directly, you guys are fucking this up. You're
not playing ball.
You're not playing ball.
Yeah.
You are going to greatly damage this
the release of this movie.
Yep.
So we have the tale of two fucking halves. The first half is them fucking it up. The second half is, yes, probably Blake Lively recognizing the opportunity at hand. Somebody had to pick up the fucking pieces, dude. And she did. And she did. And Sony trusted her to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? And they did so with the help of producer Black, right? What's his first name?
Todd Black.
Todd Black.
This is interesting. The Junk Farm said, it seems... Wait, sorry, I screwed this up. Sorry, I skipped this. Basically saying, I missed this comment. Oh, why on earth would you say, I guess Sarowitz, why on earth would Sarowitz say such things to someone who might be adversarial? If you remember, we had some other unsealed evidence recently that was Jamie Heath talking to Justin Baldoni about Steve Sarowitz, and they were saying that Steve Sarowitz wanted to call a meeting with Blake in order to remind her whose money this is.
Whose money this is, yeah.
So I think
who's paying for this.
Why on earth would you say such things to someone who might be adversarial? He's doing that specifically to intimidate her. He's calling a meeting with her because he sees her as an adversary, and he's going to be the fucking big tough guy in front of her. And he's making literal death threats about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds so that she gets the picture about who she's dealing with. So that's exactly why he would do that. Why on earth would you say such things to someone who might be adversarial? So that they get scared of you.
That would be also very true if there were any sort of whispers about tensions caused by Baldoni on that set or within that production, or any like dislike for Baldoni. Like, it does appear to me that Baldoni and women filmmakers don't get along.
Yeah, it's a fucking problem.
This woman's like, get off my fucking set, dude. The way you talk, get the fuck out of here, bro. So look, I think this is a really important distinction. Like, if this guy can't fucking communicate with women, if this guy can't hold down, if he doesn't have enough respect for them in their position, which would be a position of power, if he can't reconcile with the fact that there might be somebody equal to him that also appears to be a woman, then this is the kind of thing that happens, right? Like, I don't know if this is the case. Obviously, I'm just speculating, but these are like back-to-back movies.
I know.
Back-to-back movies, 2 women, and both of them don't want any fucking thing to do with this guy.
Dude seems like a fucking liability, bro.
Seems like a liability, and it seems like his liability really is pointed in one direction.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the guys are all good.
It's fucking weirdo, bro. Okay, do you want to hear more about these other unsealed documents that we got?
Yeah.
Okay. So just a tiny excerpt from the deposition of Danny Greenberg. Danny Greenberg is Baldoni's agent.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's weird, everybody, I think, is having a little field day with this.
They are. They think
because they think that he is...
Because they think Baldoni would tell him something different.
They think it's somehow evidence that Danny Greenberg has the opinion that Blake Lively might be doing something extortionate.
But he didn't. He didn't even say that.
Let me just read what he says.
Yeah.
Okay, it just picks up just page 59, just like random. Okay, just the page. So it starts. There's no start. Danny Greenberg says, visiting a client, which is what I do when my clients are directing films. The next question is, by the way, where was the film shot? Let's stick with the first phase of filming, if you know. He says, in New Jersey, I believe. Sorry, there's a lawyer talk. My question is that one directed to... Okay, they're talking about an exhibit. And this one, the second dark blue box, about 2/3 of the way down. It's a message from you to Mr. Baldoni, to Mr. Heath, rather. My question is that one directed to Mr. Heath or Mr. Baldoni? Danny Greenberg says, it looks like this was a conversation between Justin and me. The question is, okay, and you say to Mr. Baldoni, in quotes, yep, and I'm there to have your back and remind you, not that you need me to, but you are the man and you are going to crush this. They are your partners. Oh, sorry. This is the next page is page 144. So it totally skipped. So I don't know why we got this part. So, in another one of these deposition excerpts, they highlighted the part where he says it was in New Jersey. So maybe that's why this page was included.
Possibly.
Because he saes where was the first.
No, it was also obviously because they want everyone to know that he's the man.
That it was.
And that he's going to crush it.
Okay. Page 144, skipping all the way to several, almost 100 pages later. Okay. It starts, they are your partners. It was theirs too. In other words, you want to mention this AM event, their acknowledgement of the continued extortion and effort to gain control of the film. At the time you sent these suggestions for a letter to Sony, you sent to Mr. Baldoni. Had you had discussions with anyone at Sony about Ms. Lively's effective attempts at extortion? The witness, Danny Greenberg, says, I had ongoing conversations with Ange Gianetti, the executive on the project, about the behavior that Blake was displaying along the way. And at this point in time, what was on the table was the premiere issue. Were you choosing your words very carefully? You were choosing your words very carefully, weren't you? Objection to form. The witness goes, I don't remember my state of mind when I wrote this letter.
Because it's leading, by the way, but go ahead.
Right. Next question is it your practice to choose why you use words carefully when conveying an important message? And he goes, I do my best. And you use the word extortion in this chat, suggesting to Mr. Baldoni that what he might write to Sony, correct? And he goes, yes, it's in the text. Lawyer goes, that's a pretty strong word, isn't it? And then objection. The witness goes, it felt appropriate at the moment. The lawyer goes, you anticipated my next question. Thank you. Then you go on to say, but don't in any way put Sony on the defensive or indict them. Then if you can be contrite in some capacity, very briefly, acknowledging the two of you had your moments, which she would dissect your energy, word choice, and personality frequently that led to mutual discomfort working with one another. Not everyone gets along kind of thing. Not all personalities are compatible. Now, when you were suggesting to Mr. Baldoni that he write something to Sony saying, other people have agreements or downplaying the agreements, did you believe that Mr. Baldoni was taking Miss Lively's conduct too seriously? The witness says, I'm not really following the question.
Did Justin Baldoni take the fucking shit too seriously? Right? Is that what he's saying?
Question is, sounds to me like you believed at the time of this chat, July 26, 2024, that it was more than, so that's before the premiere, that it was more than just ordinary incompatibility between Mr. Baldoni and Miss Lively. Is that a true statement? And the witness says, I think my use of the word extortion there was referencing just cumulative behavior that both the studio and Wayfarer and Justin was having to manage. And so that's why I used the word. Again, not being specific about any behaviors she actually did. Cumulative behavior? What the fuck does that mean? You can't prosecute that. What the fuck? Okay, the lawyer said, that would be more than just a disagreement between two different personalities, wouldn't it, Mr. Greenberg? And he goes, well, their personalities, again, I think the text speaks for itself, but I think they were not getting along. And so I think it's important. I was suggesting to Justin that he be, and then it cuts off. That's it. That's all we get from Danny Greenberg. So basically, he is hearing from his client that she's doing behavior that is extortionate, but he doesn't have any firsthand knowledge about it.
Correct.
So all that they've proven here is that Justin Baldoni is complaining to his agent or manager, whoever this is.
His agent.
And he's complaining to everybody all the other evidence, all the other documentary evidence. So it's nothing new.
Also, let me tell you something, man. Agents are like your parents. They're going to fight for you. They're going to always fight for you. They're going to believe you.
He's like, you're going to rock this, buddy.
You're their paycheck.
You got this, chief.
Yeah. He's going to fucking be on his side. He's gonna be getting his side of the story only.
Yep. Yeah, he's not getting Blake Lively's side.
When he was
talking to Ange Gianetti, right? So she was complaining, I guess, according to him. But she's also going to be deposed, I'm sure. So
well, we'll see. And because people are yes people, dude. They're like, yeah, she's really bossy or whatever. But none of that even fucking matters. First of all, none of that matters because all Justin Baldoni had to do was like, shut up and do your job. That's all he had to do. That's what I would have done. I would have said, hey, come here. You're going to do your job because that's what you're fucking hired to do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do my job. Obviously, we're not getting along, but that's cool. Let's just get through the production.
I'm sure she'd be happy to hear it. Jesus.
So, it's such a stretch to think that this is testimony that first of all, it wouldn't matter. Like, so again,
it didn't break the case wide open.
The only thing that this can like. It's not like this testimony is going to prove whether or not Justin committed SH. And this testimony isn't going to, because there is no excuse for it. It doesn't matter if you thought that Blake Lively was extorting you to take over the movie, then charge her with extortion. That case already got thrown out.
That's true. It's also like, if you think that she's trying to extort you to take over your movie, why would you weaken your position by harassing her?
And it doesn't matter
and
what
retaliating
you think.
Against her.
It doesn't matter what you fucking think. Because maybe in her mind, she's like, this fucking guy's going to blow this movie. I got my name on this fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big giant fucking star. This movie has such incredible potential. This guy's a fucking disaster. Who knows what's going through her mind? It doesn't matter whether or not what's going through her mind has any validity. It doesn't matter, dude. What matters and what is paramount to this case is, did Justin Baldoni or anyone at Wayfarer
don't tap your hands,
sexually harass Blake Lively or anybody else? Well, Blake Lively in this case. That's it. That's it. If the answer is yes, then the next question is, did Blake Lively complain about it? If the answer is yes, then the next question is, did Justin Baldoni or anyone working for or with Justin Baldoni retaliate against her for her complaints? And if those answers are all yes,
can you stop tapping?
This thing is going to be in the books for Blake Lively. This statement that they're saying doesn't fucking matter. I'm not here trying to pretend that Blake Lively is the greatest person on earth. I don't fucking know her. If she extorted, I don't believe that that's a reality. I don't believe it's a possibility. I think that's a bunch of fucking drama going down. But if she so-called extorted or tried to extort from Justin Baldoni his control of his movie, if that's true, that still doesn't have anything to do with whether or not here's the deal, bro. If she's all full of shit, if Blake Lively is nothing but full of shit, if her intent is full of shit, if her SH complaint is full of shit, none of that matters if he retaliated for her complaint. If he retaliated against her for complaining.
None of it matters.
None of it fucking matters.
What's his defense?
Sure, that doesn't make her a good person, but that's not the fucking argument we're in here.
Yeah, what's his defense then?
We're not trying to find out whether or not fucking Blake Lively is a good or bad person. That's not what this complaint is about. This complaint is about whether or not Justin Baldoni filed an SH, whether he committed SH, whether or not she filed it, and whether or not she was retaliated against for doing so. That's it. There's nothing fucking more to this. And there's no way that Justin Baldoni, in his defense, is going to be able to convince a fucking jury that he SH'd her, if they find that he did, in retaliation for this. And if they did, it's just retaliation after retaliation after retaliation. But this one doesn't have anything to do with the other, man. Like, I hate fucking Ryan Reynolds. So what? Congratulations. He probably doesn't like you either. Who cares? What has that got to do with anything? It doesn't. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. So while this might be juicy to her reputation, while this may in some way for others confirm that she's doing something.
All it confirms is that Justin Baldoni talks shit to his friends.
That's correct.
That's it.
And it also confirms,
and we know this already,
that his perspective, which we already knew, is that she tried to extort him to steal the movie. That was his perspective. And
that
his
was
agent
his perspective.
is
We
going to
know
parrot
this
that.
already.
His agent is going to parrot that.
Yeah, that's
his
right.
agent's not going to have that experience. And by the way, guess who else he's telling that story to? Giannetti.
Yeah, Ange Giannetti.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's also going to tell that story to Jamie Heath.
Yeah.
And Sarowitz.
Right. All the other people that he mentioned.
So they're all going to be walking around with his story in their head.
Because we already know that he's a fucking blabbermouth, dude. We saw all of like the text messages with his fucking prayer group, where he's constantly complaining about Blake Lively and soliciting, consoling, comforting words from people.
Conciliatory. Yes.
Conciliatory is different.
Isn't it? No, is it?
He's trying to solicit.
Right, because that's conceding, right?
He's trying to solicit sympathy from people.
Yes.
For his complaints about Blake Lively's behavior, instead of recognizing that he's responsible and she's simply reacting. It's just so. It goes
He just
real
couldn't
deep.
handle. He just couldn't handle. He couldn't handle working with a big star. Didn't know what it meant. Didn't know what it involved. Didn't know the kind of care that he had to take. Didn't understand the fragility of the situation. And you know what? Here's what I believe. Those guys don't know how to fucking read a room. And you know how I know that they don't know how to read a room? Because a part of their excuse for the culture on their set that they've been called out for is that culture comes with them from their religion. So if you're going to walk in with your religion and you're going to spread that religion in some form that is, intrusive on others, right? Then you're not fucking reading the room.
Then you better fucking just crew up solely
Baha'is.
from your own religion,
Right.
right? If you want everybody to fucking hug and fucking burn incense or fucking whatever, do prayers before and not have a problem with it, then just crew up from your own crew, man.
And that's the problem with this fucking whole thing is because like people think that because I think that Blake Lively is going to win this, that is in some way some kind of testament to her as a person. I don't fucking know her. I don't think she's as evil as people want to make her out to be. I just don't believe it. I don't think there's anything that says that she is. That doesn't mean she's not difficult to work with. She might be. Does that make her an evil person? No, it makes her difficult to work with. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like, does this woman intentionally go out and try to destroy people's careers? People with families? I mean, come on, that's such a fucking stretch.
I mean, do you have any evidence to show it?
Why wouldn't she then have some kind of reputation beforehand?
Or not even beforehand, but he's got evidence of all kinds of shit, right? Like, how come he can't show any evidence of any of his claims? Maybe they don't fucking exist. Maybe he's making it fucking up.
But also,
maybe he's just fucking paranoid
also,
and he doesn't know what's going on.
But you say, whatever. She's been in the business for fucking 20, fucking 30 years, whatever the goddamn number is. And she's suddenly going to start this kind of behavior in this situation, having built everything that she's built.
When her and her husband are fucking gazillionaires, they could just greenlight their own fucking movies.
She's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and she's going to go and fucking try and steal this movie away from him. I think she walked into a situation and went, this guy's incompetent. He doesn't know what the fucking female gaze is. He's trying to fucking turn this movie into some kind of little fucking weird fucking kink for him, at least in these parts.
Yeah.
His focus is on fucking DV and rather than on the triumph of women. I think Blake Lively saw this guy as far as his vision goes and saw a problem with it. And I think she objected to it. And that's not uncommon in Hollywood. And now the only fucking way to solve that kind of a serious creative dispute would be to have the sort of tiebreaker come in from some major power like the studio.
It also seems like she saw the project a lot more like Colleen Hoover did, and a lot more like the screenwriter did, Christy
So the
Ball.
actual writers of the project.
Yeah, I know. And because the way that she talks about it seems like I've seen a few of Colleen Hoover's interviews about this movie, and they're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And it just seems like Justin Baldoni trying to make his character Ryle into like a sympathetic character is completely antithetical to what they're saying about it.
For sure. Of course it is. That's ridiculous.
He's also trying to center and feature his character when Colleen Hoover has been really explicit saying like, no, the love interest in this movie is Atlas. It's not Ryle. Like Ryle is the guy that she needs to get rid of.
Right. And that's because he's the fucking player in it, you know?
Yeah, right. Anyway, I want to move on to this next piece of unsealed testimony. But before I got on your case about tapping just because it's so much easier to prevent one of our dogs in the house from barking at what they think is a door knock than to stop them from barking once they do it.
I just want to set out just a shout out to Delicate, who is giving everybody like real life stats about what SH is and percentage wise how it gets doled out, and just giving people some straight up education about it, which is really dope. You know, because that shit is the artillery against the idea, these notions. The problem with SH that, you know, victims run into when it comes to certainly people opining about it if they witness it, or opining about it if they learn about it, is that they don't understand that the severity of SH is irrelevant here. It's not SA. It's not a criminal act. It's an act that is deemed inappropriate by the complainant only. And now then an investigation is launched. We saw this go down with the recent firing on Matlock.
Yes.
This is what happens when an investigation goes down. A complaint was lodged, and on the same day, they fired that guy and escorted him off the lot. And the reason that they were able to do that, in my opinion, is probably because they had video evidence.
Yeah.
It was on the lot. They have cameras all the fuck over there.
Yeah.
So my guess is that they saw the fucking assault, and they were like, out it goes. And this is how it works. You file a complaint is filed, then there's an investigation. The problem that they ran into on this set, which is always the problem when the boss is the fucking HR, the head of HR, is that who do you file the fucking complaint to? There was no video, or there was no
you can
protocol.
see exactly how it happened, how it went wrong for Wayfarer that got them into this trouble on Justin Baldoni's timeline exhibit on page 33, where they're outlining all of the things that Blake Lively is complaining about, because on June 1st, which is just after the first month of filming, she calls a meeting with the producers, and she's like, okay, we've had this instance of SH and this one and this one. And she's talking about 3 different instances that Justin Baldoni does not deny happens. But in that timeline document, he is minimizing. He's saying he apologized for it, and so she should just let it go.
Yeah, they excused one of them for...
He's saying that she overanalyzed everything. Yeah. You know, it's like, brother, you have a business. You're an employer. There are legal protocols you have to follow when an employee comes to you with this complaint. Like you only have a few options, and none of them are saying like, sorry, that's no big deal. Move on with your life.
And sexual harassment also doesn't require an overt act against another person, a sexual act against another person. Like,
Oh, you mean like she could have witnessed sexual harassing language pointed at somebody else, made her uncomfortable, and she filed a complaint.
Of course. If you overhear something,
that counts.
you know, some guy talking about some chick he banged last night, that can be considered harassment.
Right.
You know, so these are, you know, so I think one of the biggest problems that we run into just out there with the general public is that people don't understand.
People don't know this.
That they don't understand it can be also very minor. And that's why the investigation occurs. And that's why the CRD has specific sort of guidelines with regards to the severity of things and where things become legal, like more of a legal matter versus an internal get it straight or get fired or whatever.
That they didn't give her any way to formally lodge a complaint and then conduct an investigation and just deal with it seriously. Right then, that was when they broke the law. And that's why she is citing 3 different labor laws that were broken in her complaint.
Correct.
It's just like these guys are just idiots, and they fucked up their own business by not taking a complaint seriously for a minute, you know?
So in other words, it could mean that Blake Lively's sexual harassment claims were of a non-litigious level in terms of severity.
Probably.
It could be that. And this still be a case that falls in her favor. And the reason is because the crux of this case is on retaliation.
Yep.
Retaliation is one of the more sort of
that was their big fuck up.
It's the more egregious act.
Yeah.
Because you know, for obvious reasons.
Because the law is clear.
Yeah, I mean, for obvious reasons, women can't come forward, or not just women. You know, as Delicate pointed out, by the way, which is really nice of her again, pointed out. But let me just scroll up to it because it's nice to have these statistics. I should pin some of these. But percentage of men, where is it? God damn it. I can't find it. Doesn't matter. Certain percentage of men are also abused or are subjected to sexual harassment. So whether it's a male or female victim, everything should be handled the exact same way. There should be an investigation. After the investigation, there should be whatever conclusion. So in other words, it could be like, hey, I'm sorry, we weren't able to prove your allegation. And that can happen. So you can file your complaint and then you can say, I'm sorry, we weren't able to prove it. So we don't see that as a problem or whatever it might be. We don't believe you. It could be any fucking reason. It could say that it doesn't fall within the CRD's guidelines.
I think typically what happens is if they're like, if they do an investigation and they're like, okay, the party that you're accusing of SH doesn't seem to be, correctly culpable for this claim.
They can simply say
so, but they still would try to make it better for the complainant, right? They would still be like, okay, what can we do to make you feel more comfortable?
Maybe, but they might say
that's what they thought they were doing when they were apologizing to her. They were apologizing for their bad actions that they admit that they had done in her presence and with her to her, right? And they thought that it was just going to blow over easy breezy.
A good example of how that might go would be like, while we don't find any offense occurred under the guidelines set out by the CRD and within our own personal policy or our own company policies, we have reminded Justin
yes,
of his responsibilities.
I know.
And he has agreed that he will be, try to be more conscientiously aware of.
And in the future, and if something happens, here you come to this place,
exactly.
This is the protocol that you can follow.
And that's the resolution, dude. You pat her on the butt.
It was so easy.
And you send her on her way. That's
They didn't do any of that.
They didn't do any of that.
I think that Justin Baldoni was like, he was hanging with his religious buddies on a film set, making the art like he likes to make, and he thought it was just vibing instead of being an employer in the state of California who has legal responsibilities and is mandated to handle conflicts in a legal, following a legal protocol. Like, I don't think that he really recognized.
By the way, the HR is supposed to also really act as the mediator too, as well, and that's the important thing is so that that somebody has a person that they can look at in the face and say, this happened, and be,
right.
And without having the other person, the accused in the room or having some influence over the person to whom they're reporting the event. So,
Can I move on to these other deposition excerpts that got unsealed?
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's really kind of like a nothing burger with these two. I just want to bring them up to you just in case you see
anything. Let's have a bite and see what it tastes like.
Okay, so this next is just a couple pages of the transcript from Warren Zavala, which is apparently Blake Lively's manager or agent. I don't know.
A representative of Blake Lively in some way. Yeah.
Warren Zavala.
Okay.
So this first page, again, he's talking about how it was filmed in New Jersey. And then they said, were you ever on the set during filming? He said, I was. They asked how frequently. He goes, I went twice, which is one more time than I've ever gone to any set in 24 years. They ask, is there a reason? And that cuts off. We don't get to know the rest of that thread, that question, that answer. Okay?
Yeah.
It picks up on page 130. The question is, are you aware of any incidents that made Miss Lively uncomfortable during the second phase of filming? So remember, this is after the strikes, the labor strikes. It was WGA and the SAG-AFTRA strikes.
Yeah, so this is after the 17-point document.
Yeah, where she
that
was like,
everyone
I'm
saw.
not going to come back to work on this set until you guys clean up your act, right? So she had 17 points that she wanted to implement. And then both sides agree in their lawsuits that after that, everything went smooth. And they got to do another month of filming and finish everything up, and it was cool. Okay?
Yeah.
So he says this too. Are you aware of any incidents that made Miss Lively uncomfortable during the second phase of filming? No. Your second visit to the set occurred during the second phase of filming. Correct? Correct. And everything seemed to be...
As opposed to the third?
Yeah, and everything seemed to be going well to your observation during that second visit. Correct? He said yes.
Correct.
Did you personally hear any complaints from Miss Lively during the second phase of filming? He said yes, in the post-production process around this testing of the cut of the film. The question goes, okay, other than an issue relating to a testing of a cut of the film that Miss Lively didn't know about, any other complaints you heard from Miss Lively during the second phase of filming? The answer is from Warren Zavala is, from that point forward, yes, there was definitely issues in terms of her interaction, I think, with Justin and their collaboration in the final stages of post. And then they continue, okay, tell me what you know specifically, and then that's it. That's all we get from that one. Okay. Anything to comment on?
Not really. I mean, no, I think that's kind of really self-explanatory, right?
Okay, and then the last part of this deposition that was unsealed, and this is just like a couple pages also. This is Vivian Baker, who is Blake Lively's makeup artist.
Okay.
And this is critical because I know that Justin Baldoni already admitted that Jamie Heath was in Blake Lively's makeup trailer while she was in some nudity. Like, I don't know if she was fully nude or what, but she was getting makeup removed. And she asked him to turn around and speak to her with his back to her. And because she was going to be undressed. And when she looked up at him, he was facing her and looking straight at her. And so Justin Baldoni, according to his timeline exhibit, he does not deny that this happened whatsoever.
Right.
He admits that this happened. He admits that she complained about it. There's no denial. When people are saying that there was no SH, I'm like, you haven't read Justin Baldoni's own documents. It's fucking weird. But anyway, I think it's really interesting that Vivian Baker was, if this was the same makeup artist that was removing her makeup in that trailer, then she was present for this, and she can attest to. They have a differing account of how Jamie Heath responded to Blake and how Blake Lively responded to him. So this witness will be able to tell who's telling the truth about that, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of immaterial because nobody denies that he looked at her while she was naked after she asked him to turn his back.
Yeah, no, but confirmation of it,
didn't.
confirmation of it is a big fucking deal because then it's not
But
a he
both
said, she
sides
said.
Both sides are saying that happened,
Right.
which is the SH, right? So what happened after, I guess, we'll learn from this witness.
It's not the fucking issue. It's like people are like, oh, SH didn't happen. Literally, Jamie Heath admitted to it. He said, I'm sorry, I have a habit of looking at the people I speak to.
After you've been asked to turn your back when somebody's undressed. I'm
By the
sorry.
way-
But nobody has a habit of looking at somebody who's naked if they're not in a fucking intimate relationship with them.
Yeah, you should
nobody
be
has
fucking
that
extremely
habit.
nervous about.
You're nuts.
You'd be nervous. You should be nervous about whether or not you might. If you think you would even have the propensity to turn and look, you would be nervous about it.
That you would have to be doing such a fucking shameless power move.
Dude, they were trying to
look directly at a naked woman.
I believe she was such an object from them from the fucking word go. I think that
Well,
they
so
hired her and they were like, Blake Lively.
The reason why he was in that trailer was because he was already pissed at her when he showed up.
Yeah.
So I think he was like, "You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to look directly at you," like a fucking power move type shit.
To intimidate.
So he was going there to talk to her about an SH, the complaint that she had about Justin Baldoni, and he ended up doing another SH, giving her another harassment complaint. Isn't that funny?
It's fucking.
You were making
ridiculous.
the joke about how like Jamie Heath went back to Justin Baldoni and he was like, "How'd it go?" And he was like, "Oh, not so good."
Hey, how'd it go? Yeah, I did. Well, you talked to her, right? I did. Yeah, I did. And what? What did she say? Well, I think I might have asked Aisha about it. I think I might have fucking done it again. What are you talking about? I looked at her tits. They are fucking great, by the way. But I looked at them. I did.
These guys are they're just fucking clown shoes, dude.
And then they high five. You looked at her tits? Yeah. Oh, bro.
Of course. Okay, so this is Vivian Baker, okay, the makeup artist. It starts at page 147. She's saying, "I did not witness that, no." And then the lawyer says, "You described for us in response to Mr. Bender's question several incidents that you characterized, I believe, as inappropriate. Did all of these incidents occur during the first phase of filming?" She said that would be correct. The question continues very quickly. "You told us that you prepared for this deposition by having at least one meeting with your lawyers. I think a couple of Zoom calls." So then they just continue to discuss that. And that's literally all we have. Where she was like, "Yeah, I was on a Zoom call with my lawyers," but her lawyer speaks up and says,
it's very important that she's sitting there saying that she has multiple instances that she deemed as inappropriate. This is a big fucking deal.
You described for us in response to Mr. Bender's question several incidents that you characterized, I believe, as inappropriate. Did all of those incidents occur during the first phase of filming? That would be correct. Yes.
And that's a really big deal. Like
Yep.
that to me is that there's a big loaded fucking.
So she's a witness of several incidents.
That's not a nothing burger, because if she gets put on the stand and they allow it, she might be able to paint for the jury, an incredibly toxic place. And the thing is like this toxicity may not be something that they intended, may not be something that they found toxic, may not be something that they think is a big deal. And none of that fucking matters. And that's the part that I don't think they understand. I think they wanted to be the kings of their own fucking domain.
Yeah.
And when people tried to nudge them in any direction, I fucking hug. That's what I do. Why?
Yep.
Like when you think about that remark that Jamie Heath allegedly made, where he hugged the employee.
He hugged an assistant, and then he was like, "Oh, I guess I'm not allowed to do that. We already had one HR complaint, and it's the first day of filming.
I guess I shouldn't do that since we already had our first complaint."
You could have saved yourself from all of this in that moment. You could have been like, "I got to straighten up my act."
To me, that's a great example, or could be at least an example of their hubris, right? Because this is like my set. This is my set. Like, I bet you this conversation happened, these statements. I bet you one or more of them said, "This is my fucking set. This isn't Blake Lively's set."
You're not going to tell me
She's
to turn my back.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me to turn my back to you and talk to you. This is my set. I'm going to look at your tits if your tits are out.
I'm part of a faith that believes in love and the power of love. So if I want to hug people, I'm going to hug people.
No, he's also so Jamie Heath is also such a character that's like he's so oblivious to how disrespectful he is. Like, apparently when Blake Lively saw the picture, the video of his wife's home birth, right? And she was like, "Why the fuck are you showing me that? Does your wife know that you're showing this to people? That you're randomly showing it to people?" Because Blake Lively neither asked to see it nor was asked if she wanted to see it before it was just shown to her. So she's like, is your wife aware that you're like just showing this video all over the place of her like basically undressed? She's wearing like a little bandeau top and that's it, with her infant baby on her belly, right? That's the screenshot that we saw.
Yeah.
And Jamie Heath, his response is like, "Oh, it's fine. My wife isn't weird about stuff like that." So like, is he just oblivious to how utterly disrespectful he is of people?
Yeah, that's what I'm
does
saying.
he
In terms
really
of their,
feel like he has ownership of all the women are in his proximity?
or just the everyone? I think it's everyone. I don't think it's women. I think the women are the ones that get to object to it in a more with more voice and power, because I think men are just going to be mistreated, whereas with women they add that fucking very highly contentious, litigious misogyny aspect to it, because they have this superiority complex, and obviously they're misogynists. I don't know how you can treat Blake Lively the way you did and not be one. I cannot believe that. It's the easiest thing in the world to keep your head turned back from a woman dressing. It's the easiest thing in the world. If you've been camping once in your life, you've done it.
Yeah.
If you've been camping once in your fucking life with any friends, you've fucking done it.
It's the easiest thing.
It's the easiest fucking thing in the world.
It's such an easy ask, dude.
Easy ask, and also an easy thing to understand too. It's like, of course, yeah. It's like, it shouldn't even be a fucking
You know what's
thought.
so funny about that too is like if somebody told me to turn away while they were changing, I would stay turned away for the rest of my life
Right.
until they decided to release me. Like
Exactly.
I wouldn't even risk it.
No. I might ask, but can I turn around?
Like, are you done?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I would do before I ever turned my head. If I had any inclination to turn my head without any prior knowledge of, you know, whatever I've been asked to turn my head for being completed or not completed. I would have said, fucking, hey, can I turn my head? I'm sure I have. I'm absolutely sure I've done that in my past.
Guilty Angel has given everyone a friendly reminder to stay hydrated. Are you staying hydrated?
Oh, yeah. It's fucking 115 degrees out there, ladies and gentlemen. You could die.
The Junk Farm is asking, does anyone know where the conversation between Steve Sarowitz and I've already forgotten her name.
Yeah.
Claire
Ayoub.
was recorded.
Ayoub.
Was recorded because I still haven't really seen how the recording is legal and also not hearsay. It's pretty sure California is a 2-party consent state.
It is.
Yeah, so if it was in August and they were still on the East Coast because they had just done the premiere of It Ends With Us in New York.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where it was recorded. I wonder whether that's going to make it inadmissible. I don't know.
We don't know.
It's interesting. Is New York a 1-party consent state?
I think New York is also 2.
Okay.
I know Georgia's 1. And by the way, when 1 is 1 and the other is 2, you have to go by the 2.
Yeah.
So that
makes
works.
sense.
2 takes precedent legally. Which is kind of weird because that's like you're making my law your law, but that's how it works.
Yeah, the stricter one prevails.
Yes.
Let me get through this chat. Everybody's talking about their gardening. It's really sweet.
Oh yeah? I got to get into it, man. I was thinking about today. I was like, fuck, if I had time, I would do pottery.
Pottery?
Yeah. I think I'd be great at it.
Yeah, I bet you'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Dale's really articulate in the kitchen. Like your knife work is like impeccable.
Yeah, I like all that kind of stuff.
And like you love to craft stuff with your hands.
Yeah.
I bet you'd be good at that. And then I would come behind you like in Ghost, you know?
Yeah.
And like get my hands all wet and clay covered, like in Ghost.
That's what I want. It's my fantasy right there. I'll wear a see-through t-shirt.
I'll just be in like white linens.
I'll be all backlit.
We'll put a bright light above.
What's the song? What's the song they do?
Unchained Heart. No, what is it? Wasn't it Sam Cooke? I can't remember. Look it up. Use your ticky-tacky keyboard.
Ticky-tacky.
Tick, tick, tick.
By the way...
Lisa Timms is with us, recovering from surgery.
Oh, wow. I hope you're okay. Jesus.
Yep, recovering.
I mean, long-term,
I hope you feel better.
God damn. Sorry you went through surgery.
The Junk Farm said, and Steve Sarowitz made his money with HR software and training. Of all people on earth, he should know better.
Fucking most bizarre thing. And just like so people don't like, just to give it some perspective, if you're pushing software, that means all the regs are in there. That means all your regional...
You don't even have to know this stuff. It
all
should
your
be there.
regional and federal regs are in there. Specifically, that's what software does. It aggregates. And it probably does a legalese to layman's translation of the... So it probably has the legalese. Here's the law. And then an interpretation, a layman's interpretation of the law to give guidelines and guidance for individuals. I used to sell environmental... It wasn't software, but it's basically that. This guy made it was like in the 80s or whatever. And I used to sell, it was like these books. It was fucking the best job, one of the best jobs I ever had because everyone fucking needed it. A hunger for your touch. Yeah. Is that chained love?
Unchained Melody? No.
Unchained.
Look it the fuck up.
Fuck that song. I cried, bro. Oh my God. Did you cry in that movie?
It's got to be Sam Cooke.
Did you cry?
No.
Oh God, Angela, I'm so glad I knew this after we started dating. Because if you told me that beforehand, I would be like, wow, she has no empathy. She must be a serial killer.
You think it's impossible to watch Ghost and not cry?
That scene at the end, that song, the fuck. Oh God.
Oh, Hinata said that she thinks the recording was in New York, which is a 1-party consent for recordings.
It is 1 party there. Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't sure.
Hanada said that Baldoni supporters are clinging to this 2 pages that has no relevancy. Baldoni dropped all his contractual claims when he refused to amend. The judge will curtail the subject in trial as in every trial.
Yeah, exactly. This helps them potentially helps them in feeding their machine of people who are crazy. Speaking of which, by the way, they just fucking hate Ryan Reynolds. Like, these people just blind hate people. They just blind hate people. They blind hate people. And like, the hatred is so fucking visceral. It's as if these people have harmed their own family members. I saw today the crazy story. It's a guy running for sheriff while also being up for murder. He's being tried for 2nd-degree murder.
And he's running for sheriff?
And he's running for sheriff at the same time. And
some people just have wild ambitions, bro.
Well, this guy...
that guy's got a plan.
His daughter had been assaulted by a dude.
Oh, shit, really?
And his daughter went missing again. And so he went, like, I don't know how it happened. There wasn't, like, in the article I was reading.
So his crime is
So he went to go find her, and he found them in a truck together. And so he got his daughter out of the car. She was like fucking, I don't know, 13 years old at this point.
Yeah.
But he was already up at that point for 40 counts of SA against her. And he was somehow out. And so he killed him. They ended up in a fight or whatever, and he shot him.
Oh, so he's running for sheriff because he's like, I'll protect you.
So most people are supporting him. Like, most people are supporting him, which is whatever. We got to debate that another day. But I don't even know why I was.
He obviously doesn't know how to fucking control himself. So maybe.
Well, that's why I was like, my first thought was, okay, fine. I understand your situation. I understand the fucking anger. I understand the need to take action now. I get the martial energy, man. I get it all. I understand it. Why would I ever want that working for me, bro? Mm-hmm. Like, never.
That's right.
I would never want that working for me.
Right.
And also, despite the fact that most people are going to agree with or be empathetic to what he did, it's still fucking against the law, dude. And you're not allowed to do it. Like, we don't want people taking justice into their own hands, because that's fucking chaos. We live in chaos. We're back in the Wild West. We don't want that. By the way, if you want to read a great Wild West book, I recommend highly The Lonesome Dove. And it talks a little bit about that, actually. And it's really well done. Like, perfectly done.
Do you remember why you got on that subject?
No. Doesn't matter, man. It's
it was
too
interesting.
real. It's just a real subject.
This is current news?
Yes.
Do you know where? Do you remember where?
I think it was in Texas.
Fucking would be Texas.
Would be, right? It might have been Florida. I fucking don't know. It's unfair of me to really say, because I don't know.
The Junk Farm said the extortion part bugs me too, because they are insured. Well, I mean, not anymore, but there's a completion bond. So they could fire her and then reshoot, and they would lose nothing.
Well,
there's a reason he couldn't fire her.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter if he did. If she complained, that is it.
Almost certainly firing her and reshooting her wouldn't have been... Like, first of all, completion bonds don't allow you to just, like, you'd have to have, yeah, I mean, there'd be certain.
Yeah, he'd be like, my employees extorting us.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to be something pretty major for an insurance company to be, okay, I'm going to scrap this $2 million actor, and I'm going to scrap all this shit. So, by the way, speaking about, and look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I just don't know. Like, obviously insurance they had if she was going to walk.
Yeah.
I don't know about firing her, but I think if she tried to, like,
if they had to
walk out of the production or whatever, or she became unable to perform for reasons that are within that, because it's like the same thing with your health insurance. Like, they're like, yeah, we'll cover you, but if we catch you smoking,
right,
it's a no. So if they catch him smoking, it's a no. Do you know what I'm saying? In that analogy? Analogous. I have something more, but can't remember what it was. Damn it.
Renata said Baldoni was trying to make him and the abuser the love interest. The book also clearly paints the love story between being the story of Lily and Atlas. It's disturbing. Well,
of course it would be. It wouldn't be. There wouldn't be. I mean, obviously he's the antagonist. He's going to be the evil third party to it all.
What's weird too is that he wasn't just trying to play a villain, which is usually, you can imagine is really gratifying for an actor.
Yeah.
But So he was just like, no, I want people to be able to relate to this villain and like feel sorry for him and see themselves in him. And you're like, dude, you're missing the fucking point. None of the writers want you to do that.
I just wish people would figure out that they don't have to like anybody in this situation. Like, I don't have to like Justin Baldoni or dislike him to believe him or not believe him, you know? I remember the judge who really liked Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
As he was sentencing him, he was like, man, it fucking kills me, bro.
Right.
Because what kills me is that we know you did this and we know I've got to put you away forever. And you could have been somebody.
Yeah, because he represented himself like a total lunatic.
Like, it doesn't matter
but
that the judge
was
liked
like, you did such a great job. You could have been a great lawyer. Like, I'm just praising him. Like
praising him.
Like, he's not like a maniacal fucking monster.
An absolute one of the worst killers in the history of the United States. And then he throws him away where he belongs. Or I guess maybe he got sentenced to death. I can't even remember. He did, right? Because he was gas chamber, right?
He was executed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was electrocution.
He was electrocution. That's right. So he was electrocuted. But it's not about like or dislike is the point, right? Here's a judge saying, I got to sentence you to death. What a bummer, because I fucking would have went fishing with you. So what?
Yeah, it's super weird too, because God, the judge knew about what he'd done, which was like lure women under the guise of inviting them to be helpful.
Right, and none
which
of that
is the
part,
most sinister thing a person can do.
Yeah, but none of that part is what the judge is talking about. This is the fucking point I'm trying to make, is that he got to see this guy who he said was somebody that he could like if it weren't for the fact that he was a monster. And the point that I'm trying to fucking make is that everybody wants to hate Blake Lively. Everybody wants to hate Ryan Reynolds. And that's okay, go ahead. But none of that has to do with what is going on here. Mm-hmm. You can hate them and they can still be victims.
Delicatessen said, the Wayfarer guys had an incident in all 4 categories of unwelcome sexual conduct: physical, verbal, nonverbal, and visual/written.
Yeah. All fucking 4. Well, how about that? Thank you for pointing that out.
I don't know what the last one is. What do you visual/written of unwelcome sexual conduct?
Yeah, like that would be me calling you and be like, when you walk by me, I can barely contain myself. That would be it. If I texted you that.
Oh, you know what it probably is? When he went to meet with the intimacy coordinator and he made all these notes that were like really vulgar
it's the
notes.
Video, dude.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's a video of the pregnancy.
Video. But also, like, his notes with the intimacy coordinator were super fucking vulgar.
Well, yeah, but that's written too. That's true. Well, there you go. So it's double shot. By the way, Prince Andrew, I just got this out of the corner of my eye here. Prince Andrew told Epstein, we'll play some more soon, in an email. Can you fucking believe that? He put that in an email. We'll play together again soon.
There's this meme. I don't know where it originated, but there was a guy who said, I think it was on Twitter or something. He said that every time he sees a picture of 2 dudes, that he thinks in his mind, he goes, well, if it isn't the Blowjob Brothers.
I know. That's really funny.
It's just so random and weird. And so I've just been, that's exactly what that made me think of. He said, we'll play together soon.
Isn't that fucking weird?
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
What the fuck are you talking
about? That is
about?
totally a normal way for 2 adult men to fucking talk to each other.
Some of the things I wanted to tell you guys about was this argument that I've been getting on with these Baldoni supporters, and one of the things is they just want to hate Ryan Reynolds. So one of the things that they want to argue about is that Ryan Reynolds, I guess, had some booze at the premiere of I Like Me. Is that what it's called? I Like Me?
Yes.
So he had some booze, and then they went on about how John Candy wasn't, addicted to alcohol, and so it was an insensitive thing to do. John Candy died 30 years ago. Start with that. He's been dead 30 years, right? Protecting John Candy is, that was 30 years ago, not today. Secondly, alcoholics are always dealing with people drinking around them at all times. It's a part of their recovery. It's literally a part of their recovery. So they have to understand what makes them comfortable, what makes them uncomfortable. They have to know when to get in and get out of situations, et cetera, et cetera. It's not up to the world to adjust to them. They're the ones that have to adjust to the world, and they know that. They're literally they're in a program to do that specifically, right? That's not to mean that we shouldn't help them if we can, but it's their responsibility, not our responsibility. That is the fucking point of the program itself. The whole fucking point of the program is responsibility. Personal fucking responsibility. Not Ryan Reynolds' responsibility, right? Not anybody else's. But the second thing that they want to argue is that he was an alcoholic, and he was not an alcoholic. John Candy could drink. He could drink anybody under the table, probably, that he knew. The guy was a fucking morbidly obese human being. John Candy was obviously an overeater. That was his biggest problem. And that was what largely led to his very early cardiac arrest. But he was not an alcoholic. His kids, though, said that the drinking could become a problem at times, was not a daily occurrence, and was not something that they would have categorized as alcoholism. Right? But they want to try to create this fucking absolute fucking bullshit lie about Justin Baldoni creating or exploiting or being tone deaf of alcoholics and addicts by offering a very legal substance to a bunch of adults who are there to celebrate this entertainer who was once great and once with us 30 years ago. And so I'm arguing with this guy, right? This guy's like, oh, it's tone deaf and all this other shit. And I was like, well, they had food there too. What about that? They had
Was
fucking
it tone
food
deaf
there.
for them to serve food?
Never heard back. I was like, they had fucking food, bud. What about that? You know? Like, it's just, there's just nobody thinking, bro. Like, he died of fucking morbid obesity. He died of cardiac arrest because he was fucking fat his whole entire life.
I had to look up his height because he said he could drink anybody under the table or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You heard stories like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of like the guy could put him back.
Heavy drinker.
Yeah.
I didn't know he's like 6'2". He's just like a massive dude.
Yeah.
I remember
Well, you can see him towering practically over everybody.
Yeah, right. I know. He's so huge. So yeah, I bet.
Oh, the John Candy doc is out? Has it been released? I didn't even know. No, I was busy watching fucking Starry Eyed or whatever the fuck it was. What is that called?
Starry Eyes.
Starry Eyes.
There's good makeup in that movie.
I can't wait there was good. I don't regret it. I'm glad. I'll take your fucking, you know, you can take my reviews. I'll take your suggestions. I do plan on watching it this week. We'll watch it this week. Maybe even tonight. I'm going to eat some popcorn. I want it. Anyway, it just drives me nuts because it's not true. John Candy didn't die of alcohol related.
They're only
problems.
saying that because they want to beat up on Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, they want to hate this guy.
They're inventing things about John Candy.
And then one guy even said that he guessed that Chris Candy,
his son,
hates fucking Ryan Reynolds, and I was like, he fucking
why would he
made the documentary with him, you fool. He literally made the documentary with him, you know. And then this other one tried to point out that fucking Ryan Reynolds is some kind of a douchebag for making a documentary that wasn't about himself or something. He was like, he produced this movie, we didn't direct it, and it wasn't even about himself. And I was like, what producers make movies about themselves? What the fuck are you talking about? It's just a level of madness and stretching.
You are a producer
for some of the crazy things.
You are a producer who should make a movie about yourself. This is
well,
true.
I might maybe one day, but it's a very rare thing.
Mm-hmm.
It does happen. We saw it in this movie about
yeah, like Spielberg did
if
it.
you don't watch this bird movie, guys, will be really disappointed.
Listers on YouTube.
Listers. The link is in the description of this live. So just go to this live, click on the description. You'll see Listers and the link. Click on that. It's free to watch, and you'll love it. If you like documentaries at all, you'll love it. All right, you got anything else you want to get through some of these?
Guilty Angel said, "Angela, you're so cute." And I have no idea what you're referencing, but it pains me that I don't get to know what that was about.
I concur.
You think I'm cute?
I think you're great. I think you're cute. Yeah.
I'm a very tall woman with very broad shoulders. I don't think I've ever felt cute. It's nice to hear. Hinata said, exactly the core of her case, Blake Lively's, it's several incidents that amount to a problem in workplace. One incident alone, honestly, wouldn't grant her a victory in court.
No.
But it's true.
Well, retaliation against it would, for sure.
Yes, but it's just remarkable how she would complain and they would persist. You know. Another
argument I had with the fucking lawyer, by the way, like, I just can't believe these lawyers. Like, this lawyer thinks that there's going to be a judgment, there's going to be a motion to dismiss on evidence, meaning that the court got enough evidence and now sees that Blake Lively has no case and they're going to dump the case. And it's just fucking zero chance of that happening. I mean, it just literally zero chance of that happening. it couldn't be more obvious that this case is clearly either going to trial or to a settlement, potentially, because it's a litigation, but so stupid.
Oh, apparently what I did that was cute.
Yeah.
Was talking about the scene in Ghost.
Oh.
Where you're gonna learn how to do pottery, and you're gonna be like, Angela, stop it, you're doing it again. Because I'm gonna be behind you, like caressing your hands from behind, spooning you at your potter's wheel. You'd be like, quit it. I keep making them wonky because you put your stupid hands in my shit.
I'm going through the book right now, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Are you finding mistakes?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Fucking finding typos.
Don't tell me about any of them. They'll keep me awake at night. Like the time that I allowed the typo could 9 instead of cloud 9.
Could 9, yeah.
In your book.
God. Well, the other thing
oh my God. It must have been like an autocorrect that happened like late, because there's just no fucking way that I noticed it in your printed book after we had gone through editing like 20 drafts.
It's got to be autocorrect. But there are other mistakes. Like I found like me doubling up on action a couple of times where I clearly like was making a choice to put the action before the dialogue and then changed my mind and did the action after. And, and then I have it on both sides because I just forgot to delete.
Yeah, but you should look at those really closely because I can see where that would be intentional and it would work.
Yeah, I look at them very closely.
Unchained Melody, Jeremy Wright says.
Yeah, I love it.
Bernada also said Unchained Melody.
I heaved crying. Unchained Melody. That's what it is.
Junk Farm says it to Delicate. Cracks me up when the Baldoni bots say that she has no case. Just Baldoni talking to his friends and other producers about her all the time. It was illegal retaliation.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the hardest one to prove. But, they put up a website, dude. I mean, this is going to be, I think, really fucking easy, dude.
Oh, yeah, with that website, too. Yeah. Because the whole time that they're exchanging text messages about that website, the whole time they're trying to figure out how they can make sure that it doesn't crash if it gets a ton of views, And, like, who is actually covering the website? They're, like, celebratory about how fast the content creators are covering it. Like, they're obviously not putting it up for legal reasons. They're putting it up for publicity reasons.
Starry Eyes saved your marriage.
What do you mean?
That's so great. Who cares?
Oh, because we were going to divorce last time?
Starry Eyes saved your marriage. Thank you, Cosmic. I would be an empty nothing without Angela.
I was really looking forward to that movie being good because I told you that I don't know if it was the director or the screenwriter or whether that's the same person, but one of the guys that made Starry Eyes was a regular customer at the coffee shop. And he was so nervous about it when it came out, and he was so relieved every time somebody would congratulate him on it. And I saw that a few times at the shop. So I hadn't seen it, but I was really hoping that it was excellent so that I could remember that fondly. And now, now I remember it very differently. Like they were just being nice. Is that rude? Do you think he's watching? Be like, that barista's such a bitch. No?
Maybe.
I'm on my own here.
No, you're not. I'm sorry. I'm just, I drifted off a little bit. I apologize. Probably because it's getting late.
Oh, because we're in overtime?
Everyone's talking about keeping Toby away from the almond milk.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, somebody asked Jeremy said who would play me in my film if I did a film about whatever my Hollywood experience. Who would play me? I don't know.
I thought
he's
probably too old, but the guy that wrote and starred in Baby Reindeer, I thought could play, because a lot of the character that he played there, which is based on himself, was like this nervous fledgling artist, who like kept trying stuff nervously, and it just reminded me a lot of how I picture you. What's his name? Michael Gadd? No, not Michael.
I've actually fantasized about him reading my book because I think he would like really identify with it because people
Richard Gadd.
People have tried to destroy that dude and
yeah, you guys have similar stories.
We have similar stories in
right.
in an odd way. Mine being a little more difficult to navigate than his.
Well, he had some very serious difficulties to navigate.
I'm excited about about John's Plum getting some love on the channel. That's been really nice.
Yeah,
it's been great. I hope that it keeps coming, man. I hope it's a bunch of Leo fans. I want them to fucking get the news, bro.
Anything else?
No, that's it. I just got my regular arguments online. That's everything for me. Who would play Leo? That guy that guy who fucked that guy. That guy. The guy you showed me, the guy. That's the guy.
The guy that fucked.
No, you didn't fuck. But you showed me the guy. The guy who looks like Leo. The guy who looks like Leo. You showed me him. There's only one. You only ever showed me one guy who looks like Leo.
I think we recently saw Jack Nicholson's son. What's his name?
He's not going to play Leo.
Well, I mean...
He's not going to play Leo.
Okay.
He could play a hamhead Leo.
He seems like he's got a real gift for comedy. Ray Nicholson.
Is it, how would you nickname Ray?
But he's probably too old already. See, people have to be young, you know?
How would you nickname Ray, you know? You know how I always do, like, I call him a Ray Ray? Yeah. Ray Ray is what I call him. Yeah. I was like, you can't give me like Rick, you know. Ray
Who would
Nick.
play Toby? I feel like I've answered these questions. These questions are being posed to you. Who would play you?
Army Hammer.
Who would play Leo? Who would play Toby?
Who's the guy who like wants to eat corpses?
Yeah, that's a Cannibal Fantasy.
Yeah,
that's Army Hammer. Yeah,
Army Hammer playing.
He's way too attractive to play Toby.
So what? He eats corpses, so he's weird enough.
Yes,
I suspect that Toby may have eaten a corpse or two in his life.
Oh my god! This is for entertainment purposes only.
I suspect Tobey Maguire may have eaten a corpse or two in his life. It's just a total hunch.
He's a vegetarian, Dale.
You know what I mean? Maybe he looks at, you know, there was that, you know how Ed Gein looked at, no, not Ed Gein, how John Wayne Gacy looked at homosexuality. He was like,
yes,
he was like,
guys, there's this documentary about John Wayne Gacy tapes that is just.
The John Wayne Gacy tapes had dropped.
The guy is such an unbelievable narcissist.
Wow.
He can't do anything wrong. He justifies everything to himself.
He believed that he wasn't having.
Fascinating.
He doesn't believe that gay sex is homosexuality. He believes homosexuality is loving another man.
Yeah. So he's like, so since I didn't care about any of these men,
I wasn't gay.
That wasn't gay sex.
Because gay, and then he went on to like talk about how despicable and deplorable homosexuals
he hated
are.
it. He thought it was disgusting.
And all he did was gay sex and then kill people with it.
I know.
Just like
you have to be so insane.
The crazy is just,
he's saying it like he's not even stuttering.
Like fucking as straight face.
He's not
as
even
you
like
be.
trying to find his words. He's like, this is
literally
my conviction and
believes
this
that
makes sense.
Homosexuality is defined by the love of one man to another that includes sexual relations. If it's just sexual relations, not gay.
In fact, he thinks that it's disgusting.
I know there are guys out there who are like BJs are, you know, not gay.
Okay.
Which of course it is. It is. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying there are guys out there that don't.
Anyway, that wasn't like the most disturbing thing John Wayne Gacy was talking about.
No, it was funny, dude. That was just funny. I was like, I laughed. I was like, I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. So you had never heard denial. Like, it's just like, yeah, just.
It is really fascinating to hear somebody justify the worst behavior and like completely unquestioningly deliver this what he believes is a truth. And he's just so insane. He doesn't know he's crazy. It's really wild.
I'm excited about loading up some movies. By the way, if you want to suggest some movies to us to watch, you can go and look at the Criterion collection over there and see if there's anything in there you'd like us to watch. You don't have to be a member or even sign in to look at all the movies there, including They Live and others. What Lies Beneath, I think, is now playing there.
You didn't answer the question.
There's a bunch of movies there that we might check out. And so, yeah, feel free to do that. We want to load up some movies for the weekend. What question?
You don't have an answer to the question about who should play you and Leo and Toby?
I have no idea who should play me or Leo or Toby. No idea. Armie Hammer for Toby. Leo.
What? That makes no sense.
Leo, you should find like if you find a woman who looks close to Leo, I think you have a better luck like casting a woman. If you want to like go by looks.
I thought the Sprouse brothers, Sprouse or Spruce?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about there. One of them's like legit.
because you say that that Jay Ferguson and DiCaprio look similar as friends.
Right. Yeah,
so they're twins.
Yeah.
So you just cast one.
Just make one different, like dye his hair fucking blonde or something.
Yeah. But I also think they're probably too old at this point. You'd have to find fresh talent, hot off the press.
I think casting would be really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, one more thing I do want to share before we leave, because I'll probably forget it, is that California has passed a law forbidding actors to be portrayed by AI.
Fantastic.
So you can't have AI actors in California.
Yep.
That's fucking dope, dude.
I hope they keep making movies in California.
We need legislation. Well, at least they're not going to make AI movies. You know, it might get to the point where, you know, made in California means, you know, no AI as a matter of like government certification sort of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Jeremy Wrights is saying, let's all watch Boogie Nights together.
Oh, we should. I'll watch it again. They just released some kind of platinum DVD or some shit just now.
Oh my God.
Of course they did.
I want to buy it.
Want to buy 10 of them? You guys are wonderful. Thanks for joining us. I hope you'll come back again and see us tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about, but it'll be something.
Yep.
And we really do enjoy your company, as you know. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. We had a nice little turnout tonight. I hope we found some new folks to come back and hang with us. And like I said, you know, the movie might get a lot of traction over the next few months, and so we might see a bunch of people dropping by. So be tolerant of questions about Don's Plum and praise for a shitty old movie like that. And who knows, maybe they'll help the channel as well. So we'll see what happens. But really glad to spend our evenings with you. We'll do it again tomorrow night.